victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to eav.org.
My son Finn was born with congenital heart disease. He ended up spending about the first 8 months of his life in the hospital. During that time, he endured 10 surgeries, including an open heart surgery. Starlight Children's Foundation has played an important role in my family's life. For 5 weeks when he was a baby, Finn lived in a Starlight Hero wagon. You could not understand the pure joy of having him go from a hospital bed into his favorite red wagon. Starlight doesn't just give items that hospitalized kids can use to keep themselves happy, but also memories, moments, and experiences which are so needed in times like these. They allow sick kids to just be kids for a little while. The support that Starlight provides to families like mine is an integral part to creating happiness at a time when there's very little to be found. Learn more about how Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of sick kids by visiting starlight.org today.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy hump day to you. I guess it's the calm before the storm. Literally, I guess we got a storm that'll be rolling through, a hurricane / tropical storm that will splash a little bit of the area eventually tomorrow, I guess, into Friday. And it's the calm before the storm because of the big weekend we have in football, which gets underway tomorrow with an NFL game between the Bills and the Dolphins. And, of course, the Dolphins have been in the news for more than just what they did on the football field against the Jaguars, the whole Tyreek Hill story. But they'll get the weekend started early on Thursday, and then college football plenty beginning on Friday, including that Memphis-Florida State showdown in Tallahassee. We welcome you in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, September 11th, 2024, 9/11, and the anniversary, which we'll talk about in just a second. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it is where family and fun come together. And yes, sirree, Bob, the world's biggest spa sale continues. Check them out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. 65 degrees, going to get up to 90. It was toasty again yesterday after we had some delightful weather. And it'll be a little bit toasty today. Partly cloudy skies. A little bit overcast this afternoon. Then tonight we're looking at cloudy skies early, 67 degrees for a low temperature tonight. Chance of rain at about 60%. And then tomorrow it looks like it may be an all-day rain affair. Coming up on the program today, Jerry Palm joins us at 8:25 to talk college football as we move from week 2 to week 3. At 9:05, DeMichael Cole on the Grizzlies and the NBA. And we are closing in just 3 weeks away from the camps opening up around the NBA. The Grizzlies will have their 3-day camp on October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Nashville. So we'll talk to Michael about that. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. Major League Baseball final 3 weeks of the regular season. So getting down to the nitty-gritty, we got Major League Baseball talk to get to today. Of course, plenty on the National Football League, college football, and other topics as well. So kick back, relax, and enjoy. Good morning.
Good morning.
So today, obviously, 9/11 and the 23rd anniversary. Can you believe it's been 23 years?
Yeah, it's a little crazy to think that was that long ago. It's one of those that will always be a vivid memory, regardless of how many years it's been. But yeah, it does not seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah, very young people at that time who are now much older know 9/11, I'm sure, from the history, from reading about it, from watching TV, movies, documentaries, but they probably don't remember because they were too young where they were, what was happening. And, of course, we remember vividly coming into the station for me and becoming a news outlet. The one time we've had certainly stories over the years which went beyond sports that we kind of dove into because we had to, but pretty much we stay away. We're not a political show. We don't do much as far as that's concerned. We're sports. We're your outlet to get away from, the hardships of life. But, boy, that day it was, no. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're under attack in this country, which we were in a sense. And I was very proud of everybody here at the station as we were able to give as much information as we could when we gathered it to our listeners out there who were listening. I mean, a lot of people certainly were watching television and looking at the videos and things of that nature. But, boy, I remember driving to work and listening. I think it was George was before me, and whatever the case was, just looking in the sky and going, man, it is eerily quiet because they had grounded all the planes, and just horrific. A day that we will never, ever forget.
Yeah, it's there's so many things I remember about that day, but yeah, it's it was just so surreal. Like I still can't believe that it all actually happened. But I do urge anybody if you haven't been to the memorial in New York and get that opportunity, that is certainly worth the trip. I mean, it is that could be an emotional experience just going to that as well. But it just it's just weird that now just the simple 9/11, like you just hear that there's one clear memory, just those two numbers together. It is absolutely a lot of different things that come to mind and a lot of different memories.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to visit that yet. Certainly, it's a goal of mine. But I do remember going with the Tigers to New York City, one of their many trips to the Garden, and this was it might have been that spring of 2022. With the NIT, it may have been a regular season game. I don't remember exactly what game it was. But we were in New York, and I remember going with the team over to the location of where the Twin Towers were. And they were already starting to do things there, but it was a hole and two holes and just very eerie. But the team there in silence looking at that and contemplating, and it was a memory. It was just like when I was with the Tigers and we played a game in New Orleans in basketball, and it was not long after Katrina hit, and we rolled the bus through the Ninth Ward, and it was, again, not long after it hit, so houses on top of houses, cars on top of cars, and again, the experience for me was incredible, but to be an 18, 19, 20-year-old that is contemplating it all, just me looking around on the bus at the faces of the players and the staff, just looking at that. Just these are things I'll never forget. I wanted to ask you, Zach, you're how old now, 30?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were 7 years old?
I was 7.
Do you remember it? Do you remember it vividly? Do you vaguely remember it? What was your recollection of 9/11 when it was happening?
I remember being in school, and there was just a lot of commotion amongst the teachers. Everybody was just kind of talking within themselves. And it was, and I went to a Montessori school, so everything was like there was no walls. It was just a big open area. Everybody's like divided in their own classrooms. Like I just remember like it was just being a really big commotion. Like something happened early in the, like I don't know what it was. It was just something happened, and then next thing you know, one of the teachers kind of pulled out the TV, turned it on, saw the news, and I'm like, oh, okay, like something is going on in New York, and then all of a sudden, parents started showing up to the school, pulling kids out. I know my mom did. She pulled all 5 of us out of the school, and when I got home, I saw it on the TV. I was like, oh, the plane hit a building. Like that's all I knew. It was like a plane hit a building. Didn't know if it was like a terrorist attack or anything. I just saw a plane hit a building. So
yeah, at 7, you probably couldn't even contemplate like what a terrorist attack would be. Did the teacher, when she pulled out the television, was she just looking at it by herself, or did she show the class?
I think she was looking at it by herself and with other teachers. It would just so happen, like, you know how kids are. You kind of turn your heads just trying to see what's going on, and you just saw, like, they were just, like...
Right. I know that feeling when I know exactly what you're talking about. Something's going on. You just quite can't put your finger on it. I'm glad they didn't turn around and just put the TV out there for all the kids to see the chaos, but... Yeah, that had to be something at that age.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, because... and as we're kind of sitting and talk about it now, I kind of understand why they would do that, because I think in society now, it's almost not to say to ingrain the children, like to show them like, hey, like this is what it looks like for a terrorist attack or something tragic happens in the United States. I mean, I think
it's a learning tool, but at the moment when it's happening live, I assume you had younger kids even in your school. That may not be the right thing to do, because I mean, you saw some horrific stuff. I mean, remember seeing Eli? Do you remember seeing things that like it looked like what are the like? Are they chairs flying off the building or something? They were people jumping
waving
to their death because they didn't want to burn to death. They jumped to their demise. I mean. What? I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I go, they're people. So, that had to be quite the experience. I'm sure for all our listeners out there,
I can't imagine like what it would like being in school at that time and like trying to figure that out as a kid. It was hard enough as an adult to try and figure out what the heck you're watching and seeing and how that's possible and what was coming next, and just with all the other planes and everything. I was just like, what is happening right now? This is like so bizarre that this could happen in our country. Like,
to the United States.
It was just like this. What? How can this possibly happen? And just wondering, like, what's next? Like, what is the next thing? What are we going to hear happening next? Where is it happening? What? In just it was so bizarre.
I mean, it's pre-social media, so. I'm up and I got the TV on, and I remember they said, I think they thought it was a commuter plane, a small plane that hit one of the towers. I was like, whoa, man, it's pretty bad. I didn't even think of anything else, but I go, it's really getting smoky there and all that, and I don't know. So in 2001, which was obviously 4 years prior to you and me starting in 2005. I was on, I don't know if that was when I was on with Michael Eaves or I don't even remember. The years blend, but I know I was driving there in the morning and learning and listening as George, I believe, before me was talking on our station, and then coming in, I don't know if the towers had both fallen at that point. I think they had, and then, of course, the response. There was the turn the other cheek people that had a tough time turning the other cheek, right? Now it was like, okay, we're going to war. And I don't care what political affiliation you had, you were proud, I think most people were, of Bush Jr., who came in there and, put a fist up to the enemy and responded and tried to bring the country together. I think we were pretty much together as a country at that point. we've gone downhill since.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time
in
ago.
In that case, it's understandable how long ago that was.
I know it's pretty crazy that, and I didn't watch 1 second of the debate last night, but we got that, which everything I've read is like it was an absolute joke, clown show debacle. But we have that with two divided parties and divided country. And in 2001, unfortunately, it was attacks on our country that brought us together as we've never been together before like that. And hopefully, God forbid, it doesn't take another tragic moment or moments to bring us all together again. So there you go. Anyway, certainly felt obligated to talk a little bit about 9/11, certainly as today is the 23rd anniversary of that day.
It's funny to me, like I can't remember what flying was like before that. Now, like I don't remember what airports were like before all the 9/11 stuff happened.
Oh, it was. I mean,
like I don't have a comprehension of like just now when I think of airports, everything I think of is the post 9/11 world of airports. I don't have any recollection really at all of like what airports were like before that happened.
Oh, you could just run. You could run through like the security line was like nothing, and then you could like turn around and go back and go get a beer at that. I'm talking about Memphis International. They had the little bar out there in the main lobby. I forget what it was called, O'Shea's or something. I think it may have closed now. But you can go, okay, let me just jump back and go get a beer there and then jump back and forth. They weren't checking for the fluids. You could bring whatever you want in your suitcase. I mean, it was hardly any security.
You know the crazy? I do remember life before the TSA, the pre-checks and the checks. Like I do remember like having to you walk the concourse to the actual boarding gate because my uncle he'll fly into town, and I think he flew in like either that summer before. And I remember like walking around the concourse, like going to
yes, you could go and meet your party coming out of yes. Now obviously you can't. Obviously you can't.
Now you got to wait until with crowded lobby with everybody else
right.
trying to get through.
Exactly. Yeah. That has completely changed. Yeah, and it's tough, like you said, Eli. It's tough to kind of remember those days because they were so long ago. Okay. Wasn't a real busy day yesterday in sports. There was a lot of baseball that went on. We had what could have been a real nasty brawl with the Phillies and the Rays, but I guess calmer heads did prevail in that one. Some interesting comments from Adam Silver that we'll get to. Obviously, we continue the countdown to the college football weekend. A lot of NFL news, more on the Tyreek Hill situation that we'll get into on the program. Nice honor for Hubie Brown, the former Memphis Grizzlies head coach. I wanted to start, though, with this story involving Peyton Thorne. Did you read about this story? Peyton Thorne is the quarterback for Auburn, who had a horrific game. Threw 4 picks in their loss to Cal. And this goes for, I'm sure, a lot of athletes. Amateurs, professionals. He said, yeah, look, I'm being criticized and ripped on social media. That's probably the first problem is if you're a famous person and you are thin-skinned, do not go on social media. I would advise you not to. And even if you're not a famous person and you have, a decent amount of followers, you probably don't want to do it. But he said not only is he being criticized for that performance, okay, that's going to happen. To me, it's a waste of time. I don't know why you're going after people. And it's just like in a stadium and an arena. You feel the right to, if you have the right to boo if you want to boo. But, any attacks, personal attacks, using salty language when kids are there, that's all a no-no. But you want to boo? You have the right to boo. So all these pros getting all pissed because they're booing their team. Who was the latest? Was it in maybe in Cleveland? But anyway, Peyton Thorne said he's also receiving messages on social media and actually on Venmo. I know what Venmo is. I don't use it. I know you use it. He says that they're Venmoing him, asking him for money because of the lost bets. They bet on Auburn. They lost. They feel that Peyton Thorne owes them money because he threw 4 interceptions, which was a big part of their loss to Cal. What are we? Are we nuts around here now? Are we crazy?
Yeah. I mean, do you
Putting it mildly.
That's rhetorical, I hope, because if you don't know people are crazy, then you're crazy.
Too many are crazy. Too many are crazy. Okay, attacking people is horrible. Now you're actually asking for money. Peyton, I think you wet the bed, buddy, and I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you to return my $20 bet.
I mean, this is I as a college athlete, professional athlete, I would expect that happens pretty much constantly. Like especially with the ability to bet on individuals and their performance. If you bet on somebody to do something and they don't do it, I absolutely see these people doing this.
Right, but that's the risk you take.
It's the same
gambling.
thing as fantasy football. I mean, the criticism that NFL players get from fantasy owners complaining about their performance that lost them a game or whatever. Like, it's just there's a massive group of people out there. Just some of them are doing it because they kind of like they think it's funny, whatever.
Right.
But others are like just. They're crazy. Like they think
they're being serious.
They think this is a legitimate thing. Like I should be able to be reimbursed if I bet on you and you didn't come through for me and you were terrible. Which, I mean, in the case of Peyton Thorne, he said when they win money on a parlay, no one's ever sent me any of the money. To be fair, Peyton, I don't know how many parlays people are winning betting on you.
Easy now.
I'm just saying. I don't think like.
But the old adage is buyer beware, right?
If they're doing that, if he would still be at a net zero. If he's going to pay all the ones he owes and gets one he wins, he's going to be at a net negative.
Touché.
I'm just going to say he's going to be at a net negative.
Touche. But he shouldn't even respond to this stuff. And again, stay off social media, especially if you're a starting quarterback at a big time college program or NFL certainly, or any athlete that has that type of notoriety. What are you doing? Why are you engaging with these morons? But again, buyer beware. I mean, don't bet if you're going to destroy somebody because, they didn't score that touchdown and you bet them for a anytime touchdown or a first touchdown of the game. It happens. That's what happens in gambling. But no, you're right. There's just too many people that are missing something upstairs, and that's the response. And I'm sure there are probably some that would like to take it a step further. In other words, they walked by, and here's Peyton Thorne walking by. Let me give him a right hook to the temple, because these people are out of their minds.
Sports fans are a crazy bunch. I mean, the people are a crazy bunch. You take the sports fans out of that and add the passion and everything else. I watched last night the E60 thing about Armando Galarraga and the perfect game,
right?
28 outs,
right?
And to see Jim Joyce, the umpire, that and how how
it affected him.
He said immediately, he knew, I knew where this was going. I knew immediately my family's going to be getting death threats. And he just, the amount of death threats he got. And that wasn't even over bets. That's just because he made a horrendous call that cost a guy a perfect game. Mm-hmm. And the fans were just upset about it. Not that they bet on it. They're just upset that the pitcher for this team didn't get a perfect game. And he's getting death threats, regular, a ton of them. His family's getting threats, just over the fact that the guy didn't get a perfect game. It had nothing to do. There's people. It has nothing to do with them whatsoever. They didn't lose money. They didn't do anything. They just wanted this guy to have a perfect game, and they're willing to threaten somebody's life over that because they messed up and didn't make the right call.
Well, unfortunately, it's gone well beyond threats. Not only in this country, but especially in, let's say South America, when it comes to soccer officials who have been attacked, have been killed because of a call that they thought was egregious, that went against their team. And now, because of these, not only threats, but the follow-throughs of these threats that it's going to compromise a lot of people. I love the fact that an official, whatever, a coach, whoever has to make a tough decision makes that tough decision. They don't cave in. They don't cave in. Like all of a sudden, this guy from the Denver Post, if he starts all of a sudden writing letters of apologies to Deion Sanders and then starts writing every story now glowing about the Buffaloes program, I will lose all the respect in the world for the guy. The fact of the matter is, as long as it wasn't a personal attack, and that's questionable whether or not he went after him personally. I'm just talking about a good professional journalist who is not afraid to write something that is negative when it needs to be written. They're not caving into the pressures of they might be cut off or they may have people that don't like them because they're going against that story's a negative story towards their program or toward their team, their professional team. You have to stick to your guns. And it's getting less and less in this day and age because of those threats. And now with social media, the verbal threats that are out there that never existed before. You never got, maybe they would send a letter to the editor, or maybe they would send a letter to the newspaper or to the television station. Now it's, come on, it's crazy unless you stay off it. So, yeah, I applaud, even if it's the wrong call, and we'll get on the case more than likely of somebody, but to threaten them with bodily harm, that's ridiculous. You have to stick to your guns. And if we start to lose that, and they're all caving into the pressures, I don't know where we're going, especially in sports.
And by the way, if you do get a chance to see that E6, it is pretty. Like, I had forgotten how
I've seen it, yeah,
unbelievably classy Armando Galarraga was in that situation. Like it was like it's unbelievable, and how much Jim Joyce, how awful he felt and everything else about it. It's pretty incredible. But the whole point, like. Right now, we have a tremendous shortage of officials, especially at the high school level, and people wonder why. Well, because people are crazy.
Yes,
that's why. They're why.
How about teachers being attacked in schools? That kind of stuff
anybody
too.
That does referee games, God bless you. I honestly, I did it. It is not fun. It's just not. You don't, and at the high school level, you don't make enough money to put yourself through that.
What did you do when you were verbally assaulted?
You just ignore it.
See, I couldn't.
I mean,
I'd be in a fight every second.
There's nothing you can do. Like, you have to ignore it. Like, you're continuing to do your job. Like, you're out there refereeing a game. People are yelling at you. Whatever. You can't stop and turn around and start yelling back. Like, the game's going on. That's the whole point.
You could.
And so, like, and nowadays, like, I never felt like, not actually in organized, like, high school sports, I never felt like I was going to be physically attacked. Now, there's been other leagues, church leagues, actually.
Right, you talked about that before.
I have been threatened, and people have, like, that's where you might feel like you're
be in a church league.
Physically attacked. But, like, today, in like high school sports or whatever, like, you'll see the videos all over the place. Like, there's a chance that some parent may come out of the crowd and literally attack you. Like, you don't know. Like, it could happen. So absolutely. The idea of making that little bit of money that they make to put up with the stuff they put up with, I understand why people don't want to really get into it. Like, it's just not worth their time to have to put yourself through the stuff so it's not a surprise that we would have a shortage of officials right now. And I don't know how there's no way to correct it. You're not going to correct people's behavior and take away that threat. So yeah, you're not going to get a bunch of new officials all of a sudden.
Right. And you're not going to ban people from going to the games, although there have been some games played without fans there. But even the players will attack at times, attack a coach, attack an official.
And that's talking about, like, but then you go on to the college level stuff like that, where literally people now can have large chunks of money on that game, and the official makes a wrong call. Yeah, I can't imagine the stuff that you're hearing and the threats you're getting.
I think it's only going to get worse, unfortunately. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, I want to talk about the history of Memphis Tigers football coaches and get your opinions folks, when we do that, when we return. I did want to mention this. The Memphis 901 FC is back in action. They are playing a match tonight at 7 o'clock against Hartford Athletic over at AutoZone Park. They're also back on Saturday, so back-to-back home games. They will take on North Carolina FC on Saturday at 7. And Saturday will be Cancer Kickers Night. This was sent to me by Memphis 901 FC, and I wanted to plug it because this is a very worthy cause. Cancer Kickers Night, where they'll have children from Cancer Kickers Soccer Club performing the guitar smash, serving as honorary captains with a new first goal scorer before the match. This is the Saturday match. We have several season-long initiatives with all a portion of jersey sales and tickets sold in Section 119 going to Cancer Kickers. They will also have post-match fireworks. So if you want to go see some soccer, but you also want to help out a very worthy cause, Saturday is the day for you. It's the time for you to go see Memphis 901 FC in North Carolina. The pledge program, by the way, was launched yesterday for fans to pledge donations for each goal the club scores during Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. You can go to their website and then see the link for the pledge program. So well done, Memphis 901 FC. We'll take our first time out. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and the biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is number one. So don't be disappointed in seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. Crab King's have only locally grown catfish. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crab, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and so much more. Enjoy Memphis's best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road. Crab King's is open Wednesday through Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks. The number one name in Cajun seafood is Crab King Seafood, a Memphis favorite. Crab King, 7140 Stage Road. Kings with the Z.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Want to do something you can't do anywhere else? Then join me, your buddy Johnny Radio, at Top Gun Memphis this Thursday, 11 to 1, to experience the fully automatic machine gun package for just $99. It includes 3 different machine guns, ammo, range safety officer, and a shooting range. New to shooting or just need to learn? Top Guns Academy is nationally recognized, and memberships start at just $29.95 a month. Gun rentals are only $10. Join me this Thursday at Top Gun Memphis, 2770 Witten Road.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good morning. Clean up an accident coming over from West Memphis on 40 eastbound in Mound City. That's had traffic struggling for about 15-20 minutes. Keep that in mind now. If you're coming over from Crittenden County on 40 eastbound at Mound City on the scene of that accident, it's loading up at times on 240 east and west over here up by Poplar as it gets busier. 40 westbound coming in from Fayette County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry serving the Memphis area now for well over 40 years. No matter what the occasion is, stop by and see them first at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck. Your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:33 the time. Hour one here on Sports 56 Mornings. So Saturday, as everyone knows, Memphis will play at Florida State. Ryan Silverfield goes up against former Memphis Tiger head coach Mike Norvell. Of course, Ryan Silverfield on that Mike Norvell staff. They met together. I guess they coached together, probably the first time they met, 2015, I'm assuming, at Arizona State. But it prompted me to look up the history of Memphis Tiger football coaching, which I've done before, but just wanted to double check on a few things. So Ryan Silverfield, who now is in his 5th year, is 33, and it says 18, but I think it's 33-19 because that Cotton Bowl game he coached in, it was the Mike Norvell season. But Ryan Silverfield is 5 wins away from tying Mike Norvell. Now, Mike Norvell in 4 years was able to get 38 wins. Ryan Silverfield now has 33 wins as he begins his 5th season. And if things go according to plan this year, he will surpass Mike Norvell. He won't be able to catch number 2 on the list, Tommy West, not this season. Tommy West with 49 wins. Tommy West, of course, was able to get the Tigers over the hump and get them back to a bowl game, and they went to several bowl games, certainly under Tommy. Left not in a good state where the program was. One of the great personalities, loved Tommy. But Tommy was 49-61. So he was 12 games under 500. So my question to the folks out there, the Tiger fans, on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, you can text in at 901-360-8255. I'm going to assume that everyone believes, even though they may not have seen this person coach because they coached back in the early 60s, Spook Murphy is probably looked at as the greatest Memphis Tigers football coach of all time. 12 years, 81 wins, 35 losses, and a tie. But who is second? Is it Mike Norvell? Is it Ryan Silverfield already? Is it Tommy West? Is it somebody before that? Now, I look at some of the other coaches that have coached. Richard Williamson, 31-35. Chuck Stobart was 29-36-1. Justin Fuente was 26-23, but helped turn around the program. Rip Shearer, 22-44. Fred Pankos was 20-12-1. Charlie Bailey was 12-20-1. Rex Dockery, who tragically was killed, 8-24-1. Ray Dempsey, 7-12-3. Larry Porter, 3-21. And Darrell Dickey, as an interim head coach, was 0-1. So, what do you think? Taking everything into consideration, bowl games, obviously they're on a great bowl run now. They've gone to a bowl game every year that Silverfield's been the coach, and every year Norvell was the coach, correct? Because they're on a 10-year streak. Tommy West got him over that hump. Fuente, it took a season, but turned around the program from where, unfortunately, it was with Larry Porter. So that's the question for you guys out there. Not number one, because I don't think most people with knowledge of the program and of Spook Murphy would say he's anywhere lower than 1. Who's number 2?
Well, I mean, I don't, as far, to me, and not knowing about some of those other older guys and all of that and what they faced, all that stuff, I mean, to me, Mike Norvell is, from the time I've been here, is the best coach that the Tigers have had.
Taking them to that next level.
I mean,
getting to a Cotton Bowl.
And Justin Fuente was awesome. The job Justin Fuente did turning that program around from what he inherited to where he left it for Mike Norvell was darn near miraculous, quite frankly. So I think Justin Fuente is right up there with Norvell. But I think I think very highly of Mike Norvell as a coach. I think Mike Norvell offensively, I think he's a just unbelievable coach.
Now, I agree. I certainly think so as well. But here's also a little more ammunition for Ryan Silverfield, who some people I guess a couple years ago, thought that maybe they should let him go. And then last year they come through with a 10-win season, although they haven't got to the promised land yet, getting to the conference championship, winning a championship. But Ryan is long removed now from Mike and the players that Mike got in. These are Ryan's players dealing in an NIL world now, dealing in a transfer portal world. And I got to give them kudos for what they have been able to do. Now they got a little bit more collateral with the help of FedEx, but certainly challenges when you're trying to battle for some of the better players out there with Power 4 schools. And so I think he has done, and his staff has done a miraculous job in recruiting. And, of course, wins. When you look at the record, I mean, that's a pretty gaudy record. And he will surpass Mike Norvell in win total, and continues the bowl streak. But I think if he's able to get to where people think they could get this year, and that's not necessarily even that 12-team playoff. If they do, that's incredible. But if they get to the championship game, they win the championship, have another 10-win season, you got to look at Silverfield. You really have to look. Unfortunately, he's going to be in the shadows of Mike. But I think now he's out of those shadows, being here as long as he's been. Remember, on that staff with Mike, got the job from Laird, still here, signs the new contract. His longevity is going to end up being pretty incredible when it's all said and done. Again, the only coach to have been here more than a decade as the head coach, Spook Murphy at 12 years. Tommy West was here at 9 years. Now, how long guys were on the staff, other coaches that maybe were assistants and then elevated, or coordinators and elevated, I don't know that for sure. But I know that Silverfield is approaching double digits for longevity on the staff as an assistant coach and now as a head coach. But, yeah, I mean, Norvell, Silverfield, Fuente, again, just 26 and 23. But what he did to change the culture of a program that had hit rock bottom with Larry Porter is something that historically is one of the better moments.
Again, it's for Justin Fuente to take it from where it was to 10 wins in 3 seasons.
Right.
It's miraculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the program was a joke when he took it over. I mean, legitimately, that people were talking about, like, should Memphis get rid of football?
Yes.
Like, should they just get rid of football? That's the type of stuff he inherited. And in 3 years, got him to 10 wins. Like, that is an amazing accomplishment.
I can make a case for Larry Porter. If it weren't for Larry Porter, we wouldn't be in the place that we are in now with Tiger football.
I thought you were about to make a. I thought you were going to make a case for Larry Porter to be the best coach in
wasn't for
Memphis
Larry
history.
Porter, we would open our eyes. Well, now look at us. We got a big hole in Liberty Bowl, Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium. Football team is thriving. Like, if it wasn't.
Let me ask you this. Okay, and this is a reach, but if Memphis didn't have the absolute disaster of a tenure of Larry, and Larry's a great guy, and he's but if they didn't have that, where they became, as you said, Eli, rock bottom, where they were talking about getting rid of the program. Let's say either Larry had the success or somebody else had the success, not named Larry, and they started that. They never had that downfall. Do you think they could have been in a power conference by now?
Could be, but I mean,
I know it's speculation, but I mean, when you drop to rock bottom, that restarts the whole engine. You got to start all over again.
Under Larry Porter, Memphis was ranked the worst football program in the country.
Were they? Is that like
they were the worst.
I mean, that Tommy's last year and Larry's 2 years, over that 3-year stretch, they won 5 games. I mean, it was
so soon we forget.
Like that, and then Fuente comes in, wins 4 games his first year, has the 3-9 year the second year, and then wins 10 games. Again, to go from that to winning 10 games in your 3rd season, it's like truly a miracle job.
Hey,
that he did in turning the program around.
Here's another thing. Even though it wasn't that long ago when Justin was here, things have changed so much that Now, maybe not so much for Memphis because they don't have that money falling out of their pockets, but a coach that comes in, even though he's coming into a situation that dire, and he wins 4 and then wins 3 the next year, there's some places that could be with the fans, if they were irate, make a change after 2 years and not give them the 3rd year. Not at Memphis, not because of the financial situation. I'm sure Fuente signed a 4-year deal, at least a 3-year
and
deal.
people weren't mad. I mean, people could see like that there was.
They were indifferent.
It was going somewhere.
Wow, people were indifferent.
And plus, coming off of what you just come off of, like.
Right.
There was, and anything was going to be better, but you could tell it was headed somewhere.
People were indifferent about the program. That's the worst. I mean, have a take. Either love it or hate it, but don't be indifferent. What were the crowd like? 3,500, 3,000. I mean, it was
for Larry Porter. Yeah, there was like there weren't 5,000 people.
It was horrendous. So these coaches that have come since have certainly, and that's why they're way up there when you look at win totals and percentage. Did you ever find the bowl records?
I did.
Okay, of the coaches.
Spoof Murphy, he only went
Spook.
to 1 bowl game.
He went to 1. Did he win?
He won his 1.
Yeah.
Tommy West was 2-3 in his bowl record. Norvell is 0-4. So
Mike was 0-4 in bowl games.
Norvell never won a bowl game.
Yeah. Silverfield is 3-0. I think he's technically
He's technically 3-1. Right? He's won.
He's 4-0 because the Hawaii Bowl, they didn't play.
Well, but the Cotton
he lost the Cotton Bowl.
He coached the Cotton Bowl of Norvell's year technically, so
yeah,
that technically goes on his record, I believe, officially.
But I don't think he was named.
He's 3-1.
I think Silverfield was named was the interim head coach though. But I mean, I don't know.
It goes down as his game coached.
Yeah.
So it's a loss.
He's 3-1.
But he's 3-1.
Okay.
Because the Hawaii Bowl doesn't count. There was never played.
And Fuente was.
He's 1-0.
1-0.
That's the Miami Beach Bowl.
Yeah, because he did not coach.
Oh, that was the brawl with BYU. You were down there for that.
Dickey coached the Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah.
Fuente didn't coach that. So Fuente, he only had the Miami Beach Bowl as his only bowl game that he actually coached here.
But 1-0. So again, bowls are important, and Silverfield's done a really good job with the bowls. The whole Hawaii thing, the COVID thing, that was an absolute disaster. Can't count that. They never played the game. But I think they gave Memphis the W. I mean, it's just weird. That whole thing was weird.
On the Sisters Log Cabin listener line, Raider Corey says Mike Norvell, and it's really not close, in my opinion. Another texter says, if Fuente didn't turn around the program, would Memphis have ever gotten Norvell? Fuente made the school a springboard job for Power 5.
Yeah, but Norvell hadn't established himself. Norvell was just part of that Arizona State staff. People thought that maybe he could become a good head coach. It wasn't like he was a head coach somewhere and then took the Memphis job. So I think a lot of guys in his place would have taken the Memphis job to have that opportunity to become a head coach. So I don't think it really one had to do with the other. Memphis was 0-12 or coming out of the Larry Porter 2 years, then maybe Norvell wouldn't have taken that job, thinking that he can get a better one. But I think after Fuente turned it around, yeah. So I mean, I guess there's something to say about that. But I think Norvell getting the opportunity to become a head coach was going to take that job. I mean, you wonder why coaches take jobs when the programs are horrible or the organizations are horrible. 2 reasons. One, those organizations and those programs need a coach because they're that bad. And number 2, you want to be a head coach. First of all, you're going to make more money. But second of all, you're going to get that opportunity to become the head coach. So no matter what the situation is, you take it. It's not like great head coaching opportunities are available each and every year. They're not. It's usually bad programs, bad teams that are struggling, and you got to try to turn it around. And Fuente turned it around. Norvell elevated it, and Ryan Silverfield is not only trying to keep it elevated, but take it to the next level. That's what's going on. That's the elevation you want, or not elevation, but the escalation. That's the way you want it. You want to move in that trajectory, and that's what they're doing.
This side of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. BigGreenEgg.com is the website to get all the information about the best grill there is. That is the Big Green Egg, and we're getting into the fall. Of course, football season, firing up the grill on the weekends while you're watching football, cooking whatever it is your favorite dishes are, maybe some wings or some ribs or whatever. Got them smoking while the games are on. Absolutely a great way to do it. Of course, the weather's absolutely perfect for it as well. This is the time to be hitting those grills, and you got to have the best grill there is. That is the Big Green Egg.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
If you're looking to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees, then Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, Arkansas is the place for you. At Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, you can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and is now available to everyone. A membership is $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar, all less than 15 minutes from downtown and midtown Memphis. Meadowbrook Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on and Cleveland clubs. If golf isn't for you, try the social membership for only $250 a month. And there's 2 levels of all-inclusive junior memberships, $20 to $29 for $200 a month and $30 to $34 for $250 a month. Call for your tee time today at Meadowbrook Country Club, 870-394-4186. Now semi-private Tuesday through Sunday. Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, 870-394-4186.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. The White Sox continue on their journey to become the worst team record-wise in the history of Major League Baseball, the de facto worst MLB team ever. They lose to the Guardians last night 5-0. It's Chicago's 113th loss. They're 33 and 113. They're a mere 50.5 games behind Cleveland, and their run differential is minus 309. Epically disastrous. But the White Sox still can salvage if they can win 9 out of their final 16, if I have this right. Is that correct? 9 would tie the 1962 Mets. That would get them to 42 wins and 120 losses. If they go, they're right now 8 away. So 121 losses is the number you're looking at to become the worst team ever.
I like their chances.
So 8 losses in their final 16 games. That's going to happen. They're not going 8-8. I mean, they're not going 9-7 their final 16 games.
No kidding. I mean, they win less than 1 out of every 3.
I know, but it's almost like a badge of honor now to become the. You might as well. You don't want to be the second worst. You might as well go and try to be the worst. I'm not saying they're out there tanking games. They don't have to try to tank them. They're just that bad. It's so amazing. A team can be that futile. That team can be as that porous as that White Sox team that they field every single day on the south side of Chicago. My gosh. Last night, the Phillies and the Rays had a little scuffle. Nearly. It was a bench clearing, but not brawl. Bench clearing scuffle.
It was a baseball fight.
It was a baseball
A lot of standing around saying, somebody please hold me back.
Well, here's the thing. Castellanos gets hit in the ribs, and he starts to come out, but very slowly. And Bryce Harper's was he on first or second? Whichever. He was on base. He was on second. So he could have easily got to that pitcher.
Yeah, but he didn't want to.
And he slowed down.
But he doesn't want to.
And he slowed down. And they don't need that.
He wants to yell and somebody to grab him.
Right. The last thing
And then once the shortstop grabbed him, then he was like really trying to.
Yes.
Come on. Seriously, dude. Like you had all day to get to the pitcher if you wanted to.
Well, the last thing you want, though, is Harper to throw a punch and he breaks his hand, or any of those guys get hurt if it ends up being a dog pile or somebody being suspended. Now,
and I agree with the Phillies. Like
he went after him. He threw at him.
It's a ridiculous thing to throw at somebody just because you're getting hammered.
Right.
They're hitting home runs and killing you, and so you get mad and throw a 96-mile-an-hour pitch at somebody and then claim it was a changeup, which is dumb. I mean, everybody knows. They could see what it was. So, yeah, I am with the Phillies as far as that it was ridiculous what the guy did. But, don't act. The baseball the baseball fights are always a classic of standing around until somebody grabs you, then really going after somebody.
See, I miss the days of Nolan Ryan and Pete Rose and guys like that who actually would fight. They would go at it. Not today. Hubie Brown, to be inducted into the Broadcasting Hall of Fame, should not be a surprise to anybody. I mean, he made a second career after coaching and did it so well, so eloquently, and still is doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old is Hubie now?
I'm not sure.
Zach, can you look up Hubie Brown's age? It is incredible. He still has all his wits to him and very, very good at what he does. He's already in the Naismith Hall of Fame and the College Basketball Hall of Fame.
Hubie is 90.
90 years young, Hubie Brown.
He's great. He is absolutely great. He is a classic.
The Lakers will wear a band with number 44 on the left shoulder of their uniforms all season long in honor of the great Jerry West, who played 14 seasons with the Lakers, the Hall of Famer, who died at the age of 86, and, of course, the president of basketball ops for the Grizzlies. Jerry West will be honored, and rightly so, by the Lakers. Got some more NBA news that we'll get to open up hour number 2, what Adam Silver had to say about the possibility of expansion in the National Basketball Association. We'll also talk more about the Deshaun Watson situation and the contract tampering in college football. And Jerry Palm will join us at 8:25.
Folks, when it comes to engagement rings, there are, just like everything else out there, there are top designers that everybody knows, everybody wants those top designers. There's stuff from those top designers, names like Tacori, Verragio, things like that. And when it comes to finding those, you can't find them just anywhere. There's only certain places that get to carry those lines. And one of those places, well, that would be Genesis Diamonds. You're going to find all the top designers, all the newest, latest, hottest stuff from those top designers. You'll find it at Genesis Diamonds. An amazing selection from those top designers. When you're shopping for that perfect engagement ring or any piece of jewelry, you've got it. You're going to find the newest, latest, hottest stuff over at Genesis Diamonds. Great selection for the top designers. Massive selection of the diamonds to choose from of all different sizes, shapes, cuts, whatever it is that you're looking for. They're going to take care of you. Any budget, they can take care of you at Genesis Diamonds. Poplar and Perkins Extended, that's where you're going to find them. Pick out that perfect engagement ring or whatever piece of jewelry you're looking for at Genesis Diamonds.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Need good
good food fast? You need 901 Eats to Go in Bartlett. Meat in 2 sides. Chicken wings and tenders, cheeseburgers, Philly cheesesteak, even catfish, plus sides and drinks. 901 Eats to Go has everything you want when you want it at prices you can afford. Call 901-417-8232. Pick up, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or online at 901eats.com. That's Eats with a Z. Delicious and convenient. 901 Eats to Go. 3135 Kirby Witten Road in Bartlett. Good food fast.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Want to do something you can't do anywhere else? Then join me, your buddy Johnny Radio, at Top Gun Memphis this Thursday, 11 to 1, to experience the fully automatic machine gun package for just $99. It includes 3 different machine guns, ammo, range safety officer, and a shooting lane. New to shooting or just need to learn? Top Guns Academy is nationally recognized, and membership start at just $29.95 a month. Gun rentals are only $10. Join me this Thursday at Top Gun Memphis, 2770 Witten Road.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's been slow for a while as it tries to recover from a wreck on 40 eastbound in Mound City coming over from West Memphis. Still give yourself a little bit of extra time just to be on the safe side. Did flood a little bit of extra traffic there on 55 across the bridge. Still building on 55 right now northbound up through South Haven. Coming up from DeSoto County has been in pretty good shape so far, arriving here into South Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry serving the Memphis area now for over 40 years. No matter what the occasion is, make sure you stop by and see them first at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:01 the time. Welcome in if you're just tuning into the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you on this Wednesday, September 11th, 2024 edition. We remember 23 years ago, 9/11. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Witten Road. That's just north of I-40. Currently 65. We'll get up to 90 today. Mix of clouds and sun, followed by mostly overcast skies later in the day. Possibility of rain tonight, about 67% chance. So pretty good chance you're going to see some rain tonight. May not be in the total Memphis metropolitan area, but in some parts certainly. And then rain overnight. It looks like an all-day affair tomorrow. Low tonight, 67 degrees. Yesterday, Jay Gaddis joined us in studio to talk about the big anniversary sale. They don't have these sales often at James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, but this Saturday they're celebrating over 25 years in the Poplar Avenue location, but over 50 years now in Memphis, serving up amazing jewelry and incredible service. As we said yesterday, look, you purchase jewelry from James Gaddis Jewelers, they're going to take care of that jewelry throughout its lifetime. So you need a cleaning, you bring it in. You need a resetting, a refitting. You bring it in. That's what they do at James Gaddis Jewelers. And this Saturday, discounted from 20 to 60%. Everything in there. This is not a going out of business or anything like that. This is just the anniversary sale of a lifetime. The greatest sale they've ever had, according to Jay. So if you're looking for jewelry, whether it be a an engagement ring, wedding ring, personally designed wedding sets, or any of their other great jewelry like watches and necklaces, earrings, and pendants, bracelets, whatever the case may be, plus that one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry, Saturday's the time to head on over to James Gaddis Jewelers. Go visit them at 4900 Poplar, right between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Okay, so NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said yesterday there wasn't discussion of expansion at this week's meeting of the league's Board of Governors. However, the topic will be addressed at some point this season. What do you think the likelihood is of the expansion? I think it's going to happen, but what do you think in the end will happen? What cities are we talking about?
I think Seattle, Las Vegas will both get teams and have them in the very near future.
And what will it do as far as the structure of the conferences?
I still think Minnesota will move to the East.
So you think Minnesota will be that team? Is there any other cities that you think could possibly be in the running?
For teams?
Yes.
Seriously in the running? No, because I think there's no doubt that they want to go back to Seattle, and I think every sports league wants to be in Vegas now. So, and you've got arenas there. They're not going to go to, Nashville or anything like that. I don't think there's anybody at all that would be any serious contender. I think they already know that it'll be Seattle and Las Vegas.
I can make a case for St. Louis just to be able to kind of connect, across the river. Memphis is that city, but part of that north, the Midwest area, you got Chicago, you got Milwaukee, and Minnesota all the way up at the north. There's nothing right in that sweet spot in the middle. So
they don't have the arena, and they ain't gonna build one.
And I was just going to ask you about that arena where the Blues play. I don't know how. I've never been in there. Unless that's not the old Kiel Center, is it? It's been refurbished. That's what it is. Oh gosh,
I believe so. I think they still play there.
Okay, I didn't know if they knocked it down. There was a new arena where the Blues play. I had no idea. But St. Louis used to have a team, the Spirit of St. Louis.
Didn't know
that. Right. I forget what they were. They were an NBA team, weren't they not? I think they may have ended up.
They had the St. Louis Hawks.
The St. Louis Hawks. I'm sorry. Yeah. The Spirit was maybe an ABA team. Look up the history of St. Louis basketball. But I know they did. They had the Hawks who moved to Atlanta, and then and maybe it was ABA team that they had. The Spirit, St. Louis. I think that was the and Bob Costas. I think was the play-by-play guy for them. But it's interesting. You bring up Nashville, and as long as Memphis has a team, there's not going to be a team in Nashville. Now, Nashville is going to eventually get Major League Baseball. It's going to happen. They have the NFL. They have hockey. They have the MLS. They have NASCAR. They have a lot of stuff. They're now talking about possibly a WNBA team. Are there, off the top of your head, any WNBA teams that are not associated with that same city that has an NBA team?
WNBA team?
Connecticut. That's one. That just popped in my head. Connecticut, the Sun.
Well, doesn't Seattle have a team in the WNBA?
The Storm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know all the WNBA teams, but
you think they're going to get an NBA
and
team?
They got Las Vegas.
Yeah, but you think those two cities are getting NBA teams?
Yeah.
But Connecticut is one. Yeah, that one stands out. But there's the possibility that WNBA could go to Nashville. What would happen if the WNBA ends up in Nashville and they outdraw the Grizzlies in Memphis?
They have to be really good.
They'd have to be really good, but, you just...
It won't happen.
That's in my mind.
They might a couple games a year when Indiana comes to town.
Do we... are we still sold on the fact that once that contract ends, Grizzlies are back? They got to figure out what's going on with the renovations and all that stuff with that arena. Because Para's not budging as far as giving his money or giving some of his money. It ain't happening. So I don't know where they stand. I know they've done work on the sound system inside FedEx Forum and other things that they've done. Chick-fil-A's coming. Cosmetically, there's new stuff, even though I think Levy's still there, but they still will have more options, or they will have more options, not still, more options than ever before. But the whole renovations, the whole big thing that we've talked about ad nauseum for several years. I don't know where they stand with that. But that's a pivotal piece. It's an absolute to keep this team eventually after the contract is by they're not going to give them a new arena, and they're not asking for a new arena, but they're asking for a lot of money to fix up that arena, to retro it to 2024, 25, and beyond. But I don't know. I mean, it's scary. Nashville is scary sitting there 3 hours away. No?
As far as the Grizzlies moving there?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, not at all?
I don't believe the Grizzlies are leaving. I'm
not talking about this year, next year.
In no fear whatsoever of the Grizzlies leaving Memphis.
Okay. Have you heard anything more about where they stand with the renovations, the project, the money, the red tape?
I think they know what the money is that's there. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly what they want to do and to the arena to what's going to be the best way to do it.
Oh, so they have figured out the money.
I think they know exactly I think all that stuff's been approved for that whatever money that used to go to whatever is, I think, directed towards them.
The tax money and all that?
I think that's all kind of been figured out. Like they know where that money would be coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know for sure. I haven't seen anything new about it. So I thought they had voted and approved that. And there may be other hurdles that have to be cleared with it. I don't know. But I think they kind of know once the Tigers situation was figured out how much they were getting out of that state money. I think everybody kind of figured out what the Grizzlies have out of that. And I just don't know that they have a final plan yet as to exactly what they want to do to the building overall.
Yeah, you would think that they'd want to get going on that thing sooner than later. By the way, we got a text from our buddy Chuck. He said, it is a new arena. It's connected to Kiel Auditorium. It is a nice arena, but nowhere ready for an NBA team. They would have to update that arena. He said he was there for the
SEC. He put quotes
tournament.
around the new. It's not new. It is the arena. They may have refurbished it or whatever. It is still the same arena.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, he means new by meaning they refurbished it, but...
I don't know what they've done to it, but it is the same arena.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of...
It's on its 46th name. They name it. They rename it constantly. I think it's Enterprise now.
Yeah, but I remember didn't it also have something like, was it Savas Center or something like that? I was there for the Tigers and St. Louis. Was it an NIT game? I think I was up there for it. I want to say like the Savas Center, some stupid thing. And they've had a number of different names.
It has been Kiel Center, Savas Center, Scott Trade Center, and now is the Enterprise Center.
How about that? Me pulling that out of my you-know-what. Savas Center. So anyway, so St. Louis, it doesn't appear that will happen. But it's a good thought. It's a great city. It's a great sports city. Did you find out about the history of the NBA, the St. Louis Hawks?
Yeah, so the St. Louis Hawks, they won their first championship in '58. They sold it to a group, I guess the former governor of Georgia, and they moved the St. Louis Hawks to Atlanta.
Right, they became. And then what about the spirit of St. Louis? Am I making that up? Was it an ABA team? I want to say it was an ABA team. Costas was the voice of that team. Just trying to do this by memory from the old
Spirit
ABA.
of St. Louis?
Yeah.
Basketball 74 to 76. ABA?
ABA, there we go. Okay. I remember all those ABA teams. Of course, the four then moved on to the NBA.
I'm not going to lie. These jerseys look nice, though.
The ABA was pretty cool. Red, white, and blue basketballs. Dr. J with the Nets.
Hold on, Eli. We might have to just put in a pitch to have St. Louis to get a basketball team.
Just for uniforms? To bring
We
them back?
might just have to.
All they need is somebody to own it and build an arena, and they could probably have one.
These jerseys look nice.
There's nobody. I don't think anybody I don't think St. Louis wants an NBA team.
There's a lot of.
I think Kansas City would be more likely than St. Louis.
There's a lot of old time uniforms, designs, logos that are much better than they are today. Now, the material that they use is prehistoric compared to the material you use now for the athletes. And obviously you want to change color schemes and logos and things of that nature for apparel to sell, to make lots of money. But yes, when they do the retro and we see the old Chargers uniform being used by the current Chargers, the Lance Bambi Allworth Chargers, powder blues, or the old Oilers for the Titans and things of that nature, or the Dreamsicle Tampa Bay Buccaneers orange uniforms. They were better. They were nicer.
Okay. So Kansas City actually had a basketball team.
Yeah, Kansas City and then the Kansas City Omaha Kings.
Yeah, and
it became Sacramento.
For Sacramento.
Yeah.
Became the Sacramento.
That's right.
Look, I'm throwing a pitch out there to the NBA. Let's get a basketball team out in St. Louis. I mean, out in Missouri. Pick a city.
Because Kansas City actually built an arena not too long ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they actually have an arena. I don't know if it would be up to NBA standards. I'm not sure, but like they actually have something better. Like again, St. Louis with that arena is not getting an NBA team.
That old arena in Kansas City, and when it became decrepit, I was there for the NCAA tournament, I think Memphis was playing in, or the NI, whatever it was. I remember that thing was bad. That arena was bad. What was I going to say about St. Louis? Just lost my train of thought. But yeah, I don't see that. I don't foresee that happening. But it is a great. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You were talking about having a team in St. Louis and Missouri. Hey, the Memphis Grizzlies fan base. I'm not saying they get a ton of people that come from Missouri, but that's one of the states that they go after as far as PR to entertain fans in a geographical area that goes beyond just Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Right. They're trying to get people from Kentucky. They're trying to get people from Missouri. They're trying to get people probably even from, who knows, Alabama and northern Louisiana. Of course, you have the Pelicans in New Orleans.
Right.
But their area is stretched out, so especially the Boot Heel. So you get a team in St. Louis, ain't nobody going to care in that area for Memphis. You're going to lose those people. And again, I'm not saying there's a ton, but there's certainly people in Arkansas going up 55, then get into the Boot Heel that actually come down every once in a while and see the Grizzlies play. Grizzlies do a good job in marketing themselves beyond just the tri-state area.
The NBA also announcing the expanded use of instant replay on out-of-bounds calls, which this was a thing that certainly should have been done. Now, if a coach does challenge an out-of-bounds call and they look at it, and basically if there was a foul committed, that's what resulted in the ball going out of bounds, they can actually call the foul now.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, oh, no, yeah, we saw that there was a foul, but we can't do anything about that. You did touch the ball last, so sorry about your luck. Now they can call the foul and change that if if the foul was proximate to the out of bounds situation.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? They could always check out of bounds, but now.
So if a guy comes
make a foul call,
hammer some dude's arm, causing him to drop the ball out of bounds in the last year, they would look at it and go, well, yeah, it was off him out of bounds, and they couldn't do anything else about it. That's the only thing they could review was the out of bounds. Now they could come. So now the coach has to, instead of if he wants to challenge it, but they say, well, you could challenge it. It was off him, but they're probably going to call a foul on our guy. Now you don't challenge it, and because the officials can actually call the foul in that situation now, which is a very smart move by the NBA.
Makes a lot of sense. One more topic, and then we'll take our next break. Jerry Palm will join us at approximately 8:25 to talk college football as we get set for week number 3. 3 games, I think, on Friday. Actually, are there games tomorrow? I think there's a couple games tomorrow and then 3 games on Friday.
I would assume there's a game tomorrow. I'm not sure. I know Friday is one of the 2 ranked versus ranked games of the week.
Last week we didn't have a game on Thursday, college football game.
No, because you had the NFL season opener.
But there is an NFL game tomorrow, and of course, they don't care about week 2, I guess, college football with a couple of games scheduled, or maybe vice
Arizona
versa.
State, Texas State is tomorrow, which is actually a big game for Texas State.
Wow, yes.
And then Northwestern State and South Alabama. But Friday, you get the Arizona-Kansas State matchup. You also get another game that really, this one is big for the University of Memphis. UNLV is at Kansas tomorrow night. And UNLV is one of those teams that's in the conversation. As far as the group of 5 goes, that is a big resume building opportunity for UNLV. If they were to end up winning the Mountain West Conference over Boise State, well, Friday night's game is a huge one for UNLV to try and build a resume at Kansas, who is no longer ranked, but still was a preseason ranked team and would be a big win for UNLV if they could get it.
Absolutely. Barry Odom, of course, former Memphis defensive coordinator, doing a great job at UNLV. Probably the biggest challenge for Boise State. But you mentioned Arizona State and Texas State. Texas State, maybe to a little less degree, but after destroying UTSA, they're on the radar as well to win their conference, maybe run an undefeated season, and who knows? So that's an important game. Kenny Dillingham could actually do Memphis a solid if Arizona State can win. Again, Memphis is not the only one in this mix, but the more of these group of 5 contenders that have a blemish or two, the more it helps you in your cause. Because I don't think Memphis is rolling the table and going undefeated.
Yeah, I mean,
running the table.
Texas State is hoping like heck that UTSA wins the American Athletic Conference.
Right.
that's the easiest route for them as far as that is concerned. He goes, okay, we've got that win over them. We just need them to win their conference, win that conference now. Because Texas State really doesn't have much as far as resume building opportunities. Like all of these other teams have some pretty good games. I mean, that's their best. This game will be their top resume building opportunity for the year.
Yes, but I think if you beat Arizona State, who just beat an SEC team in Mississippi State, I know Mississippi State's down this year, but they beat them, and you're already 2-0, including, 45-7 over UTSA, who some believe will win the conference. You're ahead of Boise. I'm sorry. In my opinion, you're ahead of Boise. Boise, yes, they played Oregon toe-to-toe. They lost. Texas State would be ahead of them, in my opinion. But again, it will dissipate.
One loss, Boise is going to be ahead of undefeated Texas State.
At the end of the season.
Yes.
But right now, through a couple of games, a win over Arizona State and a 45-7 win over UTSA is a better resume than Boise's 2 games, 1 loss to Oregon and whoever they beat in the opener, who I forget. But that's now. It will change. It will change.
Texas State's going to need a lot of teams to lose multiple games.
Another interesting team is Northern Illinois, who beat Notre Dame in South Bend from the MAC. Who knows what will happen there? Speaking of the MAC, Ross Dellinger's written a story about the MAC. The MAC teams lost 42 players to the P4 last year. There is tampering. Quote, slipping into DMs. One school even offering a bonus if a transferring MAC player got a buddy to transfer to. On NIU, the G5 and David beating Goliath by retaining the right players. This is a really good story if you want to check it out from Ross Dellinger. But, yeah, I am not surprised how far different programs go, whether it's collectives themselves, whether it's staff, to tamper with other players.
Northern Illinois also, they still have a game at NC State on their schedule as well. So Northern Illinois is a long way to go, and I don't know how good they actually are. But if Northern Illinois were to roll through, especially as an undefeated, they would buy. I think they would clearly have the best resume of any Group of 5 school.
Well, I know how good Corky's actually is, and that is absolutely out of this world. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Been serving up delicious slow smoke barbecue in the Memphis area for 4 decades. They've been catering that long as well. So you have an event coming up, you want it catered, call on Corky's. Corky's also a great option for any tailgating. college football, high school football, whatever the event may be, soccer. You got a soccer tournament. You're going out to watch the kids. Enjoy some Corky's while you're doing so. When you head there for lunch or dinner, you can add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase an entree. Maybe a barbecue sandwich, maybe their award-winning catfish plate or their tamales or their burgers. Out of this world. Great desserts as well. For an appetizer, you got to dive into the cheese and sausage plates. 4 locations in the greater Memphis area. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and also in Mississippi in DeSoto County down in Olive Branch on Goodman Road. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. When we come back, Jerry Palm. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. You know, I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
You know, we're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
I don't think we really need anyone else to help us tell everyone how great Central Barbecue is.
Oh, I don't think we need it either, but I just thought it might be fun to have somebody more famous than us chime in on the best barbecue in Memphis.
Well, did he talk about how Central Barbecue slow smokes its meat for 24 hours to make sure that it's perfectly tender and doesn't need a sauce?
Well, no, not exactly.
Well, did he talk about how there are Central Barbecue locations all over town?
No.
Did you write his copy for him?
I didn't want to be insulting.
So what did he say?
Hi, I'm Dave Willocean, the voice of the Memphis Tigers. I love Central Barbecue, and I vote. Does that work okay?
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Mayweather Boxing and Fitness is a high-energy, full-body workout incorporating the same equipment and techniques.
We're in the break room at a traditional jewelry store here. Hey, Mark, I know it's our job here to try and sell every piece of jewelry, but don't sell this ring. I'm going to try to use my employee discount to buy it for my wife.
Okay, but you know you can get a better deal at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds? Are you crazy? Better not let the boss hear it.
All I'm saying is I got a pair of diamond stud earrings there for my wife and paid a lot less than what we charge here, even after my employee discount.
Wow. You never know who you'll see shopping at Genesis Diamonds. With no middleman pricing on the best selection of diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets, it's a no-brainer. I admire your dedication to our jewelry store and not going to Genesis. I know the boss really appreciates your loyalty.
It's just the right thing to do, man.
And it's nice your wife won't mind getting a smaller diamond.
On second thought, can you cover me while I take a break?
Genesis Diamonds, the smart alternative to old-fashioned jewelry shopping. With more selection, lower prices, higher quality, stronger warranties, and zero pressure. At Poplar and Perkins Extended.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Boy, they're wrapping up what they're calling police activity over here. It looks like just some person sitting in a field on 40 eastbound off-ramp at Germantown Parkway. They've been over there for the last 15, 20 minutes, slowing down the traffic just a bit as you come off that ramp from 40 east on the Germantown Parkway on that police activity. Traffic's heavy down through here now, 40 westbound coming in from Fayette County as you work your way down 40 west from Canada Road all the way down to Sycamore View Road. Hey, make a difference by adopting a pet. Today at the Humane Society of Memphis in Shelby County, check out the animals that are up for adoption by logging on to memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So 2 games tomorrow, as we talked about, Arizona State, Texas State, Northwestern State, and South Alabama, and then 2 on Friday. You mentioned the game between UNLV and Kansas. Also, the ranked game, Arizona, number 20 this week, Kansas State, number 14 on Friday. Then a whole host of games on Saturday, and we'll talk about a number of them with Jerry Palm. He'll be joining us in just a moment, as he does each and every Wednesday. JP from CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. And then at 9:05, we'll turn our attention to the Grizzlies, just 3 weeks away from the start of camp. Before too long, the Grizzlies will be suiting up and heading out on the hardwood, and hopefully what will be an incredible turnaround season. So that'll be coming up at 9:05. We'll continue to take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. While we wait for JP, what's up?
Yeah, still waiting on JP.
Okay, while we wait on JP, the Deshaun Watson situation. You brought up a very interesting point yesterday. I don't know if you had read something or it was just on your own accord, astute thinking, but I've read more now about the possibility of triggering a default in his contract if indeed this latest accusation was not divulged by him when he signed that massive contract. That there is a way to get out of the contract. Of course, they'd be dealing with the players' union, one of the strongest unions there is, protecting Deshaun Watson and all the players of the National Football League. But it was you that said you think that possibly that was leaked by the Browns themselves. And Dan Lebitard said the same thing later in the day.
Well, I didn't necessarily was late. I say like that's some amazing timing. I mean, the Browns can't file the lawsuit. Like they're not filing the lawsuit,
right?
I mean, the lawsuit was filed. It's just crazy. However, it got there. I think that timing of that lawsuit being filed the day after he opens the season with another terrible performance is just crazy. How that happened, I don't know. I don't think the Browns contacted the woman and said, "Hey, you need to file this lawsuit." I have no idea how it ended up that way. But if you're the Browns, 100%, again, I don't know what language is in the contract, but if there's any option of getting out of that contract because of it, you have to be looking at that at this point.
So do you think now there's been enough games where he's been hurt too, but there has been enough evidence out there that this dude can't play anymore, or he can't play anywhere near what they need for them to be competitive and into the postseason?
He doesn't look like the same quarterback he was in Houston.
Without a doubt.
Now, last year, obviously, the injury, all that stuff, can he ever get there? I have no idea. But if I'm the Browns, if there's a chance I can get out of that contract, I'm doing that rather than waiting around to see if he can become that quarterback again.
I'm with you. I mean, you just save that type of money where that money can be used in holes that they have with that organization. And then you have a guy like Jameis Winston, who's certainly right now for this season very serviceable. He's a veteran quarterback, got some young guys behind him. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with this. It's just been story after story, and they've all been negative when it comes to Deshaun Watson. Time now to talk with JP.
It's time for Sports 56 Mornings Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer and bracketologist for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
He is Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. I suggest you do. And you can hear him each and every Wednesday talking with us, both during the college football and basketball seasons. JP, how are you?
I'm better than the Cleveland Browns.
I think everybody is.
When they signed him to that deal, that was a bad idea.
Yes.
Everybody knew it. And there was no way this was going to end well. No, there was zero chance that was going to end well, and it hasn't ended yet. But it has never been well.
So you're saying there was no way this was going to be a happy ending?
Ouch.
I wouldn't use those words necessarily, but it's your show, so go right ahead.
Well, they're going to do their darndest with their lawyers, I'm sure, behind closed doors, kind of taking a look at that contract and seeing if
they
there's...
deserve every bad thing that happens to them. The Browns.
Yeah.
Every bad thing. Their fans don't, but they do.
Give them a break. They're in Cleveland. Isn't that bad enough?
Jerry? Comment?
No.
I once heard it was the mistake by the lake. I've actually been to Cleveland. I had a good time.
I haven't. I have never been there, and I don't have any desire to go.
Really
nice.
I've been to games there. I saw baseball there. Been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, I've visited.
Yes,
Cleveland.
that's a sore spot with us here in Memphis, that they have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and we don't.
Yes,
that's a complete ripoff.
I didn't go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I always thought that location was a bit odd.
It is very odd, but I was there also in the summer. I've never been there in the dead of winter, where it's probably just so gloomy and depressing.
I don't need to go there in the dead of winter. I live in the upper Midwest.
That's true. That's true. But a little difference, I think, between Chicago and Cleveland. But I digress. Okay, let me ask you this. Can your Purdue Boilermakers live up to the standards that have been set by one Northern Illinois as you guys get ready to take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame after the Irish somehow, some way, lose at home to Northern Illinois in front of Touchdown Jesus?
Yeah. Yes, Purdue's capable of winning that game. Wouldn't be the biggest upset in their recent history, let alone ever history. But I think Purdue would have been better served if they weren't coming off a loss to Northern Illinois. But certainly the coaching staff is going to get Notre Dame's attention this week. But they've got some issues on their offensive line in particular. I'm not sure their quarterback is a good enough passer for them to have the kind of season they hope to have. They're very good defensively still, but for Purdue to win, they're going to have to keep Notre Dame's offense from getting going. It'll have to be a low-scoring game, much like what Northern was able to do. They were able to hold down Notre Dame's offense and just generate barely enough of their own to win, and that's probably the formula for Purdue as well.
Obviously, we don't know what you're comparing him to, but in your mind, if you're guessing, would an 11-1 Notre Dame still most likely be in the playoff?
Yeah, because it means winning at USC at the end of the year. 11-1 is going to be hard to keep them out. Their schedule's soft, and it's hurt by the fact that Florida State kind of stinks. Because they only had, I think, 3 ranked teams on their. Well, did they play Clemson this year?
No.
I don't think. No, I don't think they have Clemson. So in my head, they had 3 ranked teams: LSU, Florida State, and SC. Florida State
Texas
may not
A&M,
be ranked.
not A&M, not LSU.
Thank you, LSU. And I had USC in my head, and they played LSU. So A&M. They won at A&M. We'll see if A&M stays in the rankings. Florida State's already played their way out. We'll see if they can get back in. It could be that we get to the end of the year, and the only team they've played that's ranked is USC. And if that's the case, they better have won that game and all of the others.
I think by that time, who knows if USC will be ranked.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Marcus Freeman said Irish lost because they believed the hype. Well, isn't that on the coaches? Because I talk every week to the coaching staff in Memphis to prepare for the upcoming game, and they talk about. I mean, it's sometimes it's coach talk, but seriously, how they are able to get rid of in their memory the game prior, whether it was a win, whether it was a loss, and just to concentrate on that game coming up. You can. It's almost like he's throwing the players under the bus. I mean, this is on the coaching staff not having your players ready to go, if that's the case.
I don't know how much I think the problem was believing the hype.
Right.
I just don't think they were. I think Northern had a really good game plan and executed well. And I don't think Notre Dame executed well. I don't think it has anything to do with believing hype. They just didn't execute.
What do you think of Freeman? What do you think of Freeman, who has had these bad losses? He's had some really big wins, a great win to open up the season at College Station. What do you think overall of his coaching ability?
I mean, he's got a lot of talent. He always does. And yet, they mostly play to the level of their talent, but then they have a game like this every year. And, it keeps them from getting to where they want to be. So it's just, they need to avoid these kinds of games. It's just not playing them. You're going to play them, but you just, the mental readiness week in and week out has to be there. And, that part of that is the coaching staff, but part of it might just be some of the players. It only takes a few guys to not be mentally locked in and things can go sideways on you. But I think that Notre Dame definitely expects better, but it sees this one game a year ish where they just they're kind of mentally checked out, and that should never happen. It should always be, you only play 12 of these games,
right?
Regular season,
right.
You get 12,
right?
You got to be ready every week.
Mm-hmm. But see, I think, it certainly should, and they can, although we're talking about 19, 20, 21-year-old, you never know. But to me, that's what's really impressive about what Georgia has done now with the 41 straight regular season wins.
Yep.
They don't ever stumble. If they do, they win. They still figure out a way to win that close game. If that's them last week, they're going to figure out a way to come out and win that in the end.
Exactly.
It's just amazing. They don't ever lose those.
Yeah, and that's, it's mental toughness is, especially in a sport like football that demands so much physical toughness, that your mental toughness can be harder to maintain. And, the teams that can really do that, and Georgia is the best example of that, although I think there are many, even programs that are not as successful, but still mentally tough enough to compete for 60 minutes. Those are the difference between champion teams and, maybe near championship teams.
Speaking of Georgia, right now, who would you say between Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State through a couple games has been the most impressive?
I guess I'd have to say Texas because of going up to Michigan and winning.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia beat Clemson pretty soundly to open the season. And it's almost still too early to say. I'm more impressed with what Texas has done because of winning at Michigan.
No, I agree with that.
Anybody yet.
Yeah.
And but I think we need to get deeper into the season until we see what the real quality of these opponents are before we can really start to, make better decisions in terms of judgment.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because we don't know what. Now, anytime you're going to the big house, obviously the defending general, we may turn out that Michigan's just not very good.
Right.
Or it may turn out that
Clemson's
not.
It could all be relative. They could be the sixth best team in the Big Ten, 9-3. Still a decent team. But now that you've got these mega conferences, you're going to have good teams that finish sixth in the SEC and the Big Ten.
We may find out that Clemson's actually better than Michigan in the long run. It's just Georgia made them look really bad in week one because that's how good Georgia is.
They sure didn't look bad last week.
No,
they annihilated that App State.
App State.
That's App State's still a pretty decent team.
Exactly.
We may find out at the end of the year, wow, that win by Georgia was really unbelievable because Clemson actually is very good.
It was 21-0 the first time I checked the score, and it wasn't that deep into the game.
They had like
Just,
50. They had 56 points in the first half, I think, at halftime. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they really lit them up.
Jerry, Jerry Palm, by the way, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. How do you decipher so far? Again, it's early, I understand that, but through the first couple of weeks, decipher the ACC for me.
Miami.
Clear cut?
Yeah, the favorite. Maybe Clemson will provide a challenge. I'd feel better about North Carolina if they hadn't quarterback hadn't gotten hurt. But I never thought of them as a contender anyway. Florida State should have been a contender. And DJ
Uyunglele.
Yeah, I may have put an extra syllable in there.
DJU. Just call him DJU.
Ukulele.
Yeah. He may not be the answer for them at quarterback, but they've been bad enough on the line of scrimmage that I don't think you can throw it all on him. Memphis will find out this week.
They will.
I almost picked that for my upset. Of the week, so you can thank me later when Memphis actually wins.
Well, they're now the ranked team in Florida State.
What did you go with as your upset of the week?
What did I go with as my upset of the week? I was considering Colorado State, and I may regret that not picking that one. My upset of the week. Give me a second. I have to look.
Upset of the week brought to you by Campbell's
South Carolina.
Soup. That's good. Soup. What?
South Carolina 6.5-point underdog at home to LSU.
Oh,
okay. Coming off the win over Kentucky.
You're in on South Carolina after that performance last week.
It's about both teams, but yeah.
Hey, what about going back to the ACC? What about Boston College? Are they legit?
I think we'll find out this week.
Right.
They're going to the zoo, right?
And Bill O'Brien, we know as a coach he's good. As a general manager with the Texans, not so much.
Yeah, well, he's he's played well with this team. But gosh, like I said, so early in the season, we're 2 weeks in, and you can probably count on one hand the number of teams that have played 2 FBS opponents. In fact, we've got 3 teams this week playing their first FBS opponent of the season.
Right.
3 teams this week. Purdue is one of them. So, Purdue, Ball State, and Louisiana Tech. So, when you're playing, when you've got this front-loaded schedule with FCS games, we're going to get to the end of September before we really know anything about anybody. Well, except for the obvious. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State. We haven't played anybody, but, there are sure things. That's a few sure things. We got to get some games under our belt before we can start making real judgments about these teams.
Well, we're not going to give you weeks off.
That's what's weird about.
We're still going to ask you all these questions.
That's what's weird about the ACC is that you've got Florida State, who's already played 2 conference games, and Georgia Tech, who's already played 2 conference games. Like some of these teams haven't even played 2 FBS opponents. They're already 2 conference games into their schedule.
By the way,
the only team I trust in the ACC is Miami. That's the only team I fully trust.
Okay.
Yes,
so far.
I don't think there's none of the others have given you any reason to trust them because even with Boston College, people got excited about Georgia Tech possibly after they beat Florida State, then they lose to Syracuse. So they're gonna have to. I don't expect Boston College to win at Missouri. That's for sure.
By the way, was there just a game played between 2 conference teams and it did not count as a conference game?
Yes, there are 2 or 3 games with Big 12 against former Pac-12 teams that had been previously scheduled as non-conference games, and those are still being played as non-conference games. So
I think one took.
Playing Kansas. I think the Arizona-Kansas State game this week might be one of those.
There
was one last week. Yeah. They decided that instead of now scrambling to try and find another non-conference game, we'll just go ahead. Those were contracted. We'll just keep those and then build conference schedules around them.
All right, I guess. I know Army-Navy, of course, when they play, will not be an American Conference matchup. So
because they play after the season ends for everybody.
I know, but it's
both,
infuriating.
By the way, those teams have to get their 6 wins for bowl eligibility before that game because all the bowl announcements are done the week before.
That's right. All right, we're short on time, but Bama, Wisconsin this weekend. Wisconsin doesn't look good this year, but Bama struggled with South Florida a little bit last week.
Yeah, they're not going to be quite as good this year. They're not going to be terrible, but they're not going to be good enough to beat Alabama unless Alabama just gives it away. They're not good enough at quarterback. They're not as strong on the line of scrimmage as they usually are, which is usually top notch. So a step back from that is still good, but not Alabama good. So I think the environment up there is great, and everybody will have a good time. But Alabama's the better team, and unless they give it away, they should win. And I think it's a 16-point spread. I like them to cover that.
It is a 16-point spread. I'm smelling an upset. Oregon State in the Civil War over Oregon.
They could. I'm thinking that's one of my picks this week, but I got Oregon State to cover. That line is just too big for me to be real comfortable. But I could see Oregon State winning that game. It's going to mean it's a in-state rivalry. It means a lot to both teams because of that. It means a lot more to Oregon State as the abandoned program. It's going to mean a lot to Oregon State. I'm actually going to be there next week.
Oh, wow.
Because Purdue's out there. So we're going out to see Purdue at Oregon State next week, and maybe we'll catch them on a high.
Very nice.
Coming off a high.
He is Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS and catch him every Wednesday right here with us on Sports 56 Mornings. Thank you, JP.
All right, thanks.
Take care. We got the Civil War and we got the Battle of the Apple Cup going on. Washington State also playing this weekend.
It looks like there is definitely a few of those Big 12 matchups that are, because there's a few teams that have technically 10 conference opponents.
What was the one this past weekend? Because I overheard Brett, I flipped on Brett's show, and Brett had said that he and Bryant were talking about it. And they said, that one didn't even count as a conference game. And I'm like, what? I didn't know which teams they were talking about, and I didn't bother to look it up. But
was there a big? I would assume it would have had to been probably one of them. I don't know if there was any Big 12. It would be possibly.
Let's see.
Baylor, Utah.
Probably Baylor, Utah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's the only. That is the only one last week of the Big 12 that was two Big 12 opponents, two Big 12 conference teams playing each other. So I would guess maybe that. Well, let me see here.
Yeah, look at the standings.
If Utah has they have a. They're still listing Utah's 0-0 and Baylor 0-0 in the conference.
Yeah.
So that was one. Yeah, because Utah was one of them that has 10 conference opponents on their schedule. I think he's right that game
was previously scheduled.
This week's game, the one he mentioned. What did he say? Which one was this week? It is the.
You see,
Arizona Kansas State game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably because they both have 10 Big 12 opponents technically on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming this being the first one of those is probably the one that is a non-conference game. Fleet Feet is the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet. They'll take good care of you, finding shoes that are just right for you based on the way you run, the way you walk. You want to make sure you have those shoes that are perfect for you so you can avoid injuries or any other issues. Won't be long, a couple of months. It'll be time for the Memphis Marathon here, the St. Jude Marathon. I guess it'll be, 3 months from now that we'll be talking about that. Folks are going to be training, getting ready for that. You want to make sure you have all the right gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet, either in the Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis or out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy next door to Huey's. That's the two places you'll find them. You can also find them online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, or on social media where they keep you up to date with all the things they've got going on at Fleet Feet.
Got a text that said Wake in North Carolina played in 21 and 22 as non-conference games. Puzzling. We'll take a break. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. It's almost football time now. The days are getting shorter, the weather's changing, and we all are beginning to at least think about Christmas. But between now and Christmas, many of you may have a special lady with a birthday or an anniversary to celebrate, an occasion to show her how much you care. Jewelry, no matter the reason, is always the best gift to let her know how important she is, and we can help you. Visit us at 4646 Poplar. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis, jewelry that's guaranteed to make her happy. Come see the most magnificent diamonds and gemstones that truly dance with beauty and will put a smile on her face. Then we can help you find just the perfect piece, the piece that says, I love you. For years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality, beauty, value, and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Come see us at 4646 Poplar at Perkins, Russell Brothers Jewelers.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and others, of course, are calling for the Miami-Dade police officers involved in the detainment of Hill to lose their jobs. Now, are they looking at
one? They're asking
just the one.
one.
Yes, that's what I thought. But I'm reading the story from Yahoo Sports, and it says the police officers. But I knew it was just the one that at least Tyreek Hill had gone on social media to talk about. Yeah, the others, as you have talked about since this story came out, the other police were just, they were there, I guess, doing their job. And this guy was the overzealous police officer that went beyond what should have been done. Now, again, you pulled over, the police ask you to do something, do it. I mean, again, you're not above the law. You're not above the law, but you also aren't above the law if you're a police officer. Even though some would say, well, I am the law. Yeah, you are to a certain regard, to a certain extent. You can't go and treat people like that for that. And we're not talking about a murderer on the run who was pulling out a gun and you were trying to protect yourself. This is a guy who was way overzealous, took his job, I guess, too seriously. And what he did is certainly a fireable offense. And we'll see if anything comes out of it. He has the support of another strong union, the police union, but I don't think it's too much to ask for from Hill and Rosenhaus to say that this guy should be fired. But again, Hill and everybody has to understand that the police are doing their job, okay? And if they ask you to do something within reason, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple.
They ask you to roll down your window. Roll down your window.
Roll down the damn window.
But also, if you are a police officer, your behavior should be within reason.
Absolutely. 100%. I think there was mistakes made on both part, but the police, that mistake will probably end up costing that officer of 27 years, by the way, his job. Although, again, really strong support from the police union. I'm not sure exactly what it's called down there in Miami-Dade County, but they have come to his rescue, his support, saying that he was an uncooperative suspect or whatever they label him, and that it was necessary to take extreme measures. I disagree. Shoot 360 Memphis. Not extreme measures, but certainly if you want to become a better all-around basketball player, but in particular a better shooter, this is the place for you. They now have the new facility open up in Cordova. So they're in Collierville, they're in Cordova, and you can sign up on a monthly basis. Just go online to Shoot 360 Memphis and sign up for a month. See what you think. If you like it, go ahead and put in another month or maybe even a year. You may want to go a full year. If you don't, that's it. No harm, no foul. You can stop by any of their 2 locations, talk to them, call them and set up a tour of the facility, 901-316-5500. It's where the preps and pros go to get their shot on. Again, this is a place that will help you become a much better shooter. They have the experts to help you. They have the technology and the analytics to help you. It's Shoot 360 Memphis, now open in Cordova, this beautiful 50,000 square foot facility. Shoot 360 Memphis. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. When we come back, we open up hour number 3 talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Hi, I'm Billy Lavin, defender for University of Memphis Soccer. Refinance your auto loan with Southern Security and have no payment for 60 days. Southern Security will finance up to 115% of the current value of your vehicle for up to 72 months. To find out how to put more cash in your pocket, call our member service team at 901-452-7900 or apply on our website at southernsecurity.org. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics and 901 Women. Federally insured by NCUA.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Traffic brought to you by 901 Eats to Go, 3135 Kirby Whitten Road in Bartlett. Pick up, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or online at 901eats.com. Eats with the Z. Good food fast.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still some volume making its way down the interstate here on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way to Sycamore View Road. Coming up from the south hadn't been too bad. Now there is still a little bit of volume up through DeSoto County northbound 55 as you head up towards South Haven. And it's been slow this morning from an earlier problem we had 40 east around Mound City coming over from West Memphis. That's trying to move a little bit better. Weimer's Jewelry serving the Memphis area now going on over 40 years. No matter what the occasion is coming up, make sure you stop by Weimer's Jewelry first at 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:02 the time. Hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Happy Hump Day to you. It's the Wednesday, September 11th, 2024 edition. As we've remembered and certainly will never forget the days, the actions of that day back in 2001, 23 years ago today. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you, broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale going on right now at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It is Wednesday. It's time to talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is DeMichael Cole. He joins us every Wednesday all year long talking Grizzlies and the NBA. He's the Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, and you can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. What's happening?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Good. Trying to get those last few weeks in before it gets crazy for you, right?
Oh yeah. I'm trying. I'm pretty much, trying pretty much just getting ready. Like the guy in the bullpen who's just slowly warming up. He's soft tossing right now. Just soft tossing in the bullpen. But we have to come out and bring the heat.
I mean, it's a long season. I mean, you work your tail off. Of course, it never ends. The off season, there's certainly stories as well. I don't think it's been as eventful an off season as it's been in the past. There have certainly been some stories, but I'll tell you, a lot of positive. Being at the game on Saturday, working the sidelines, and seeing John Morant there, who was interacting with the fans of Tigers football and having a great time. And that put a smile on my face to see him with a smile on his face. His dad was there as well. T was there. I don't know if that's a sign of good things to come, but we got our fingers crossed.
It is a sign of, I'll say this, it's a sign that John Morant is mentally kind of putting himself in a better position. Right? We talked about it here a few times about how, even though the past events, the last 17, 18 months, he's a little bit removed from them from a timely perspective now. Like it's been a while, but still, for a while, I felt like it was still in the back of Ja's head, and you're starting to see him kind of separate himself from that part of his identity in a way. Like not that part of his identity, but being identified that way and kind of that self guilt of I let everyone down, I let the fan base down, I let the team down, and in a way he's coming out of that shell. You saw Ja last year, even during the 25-game suspension, before the 25-game suspension was announced. And when he came back for that little stretch, he even when he played well during the stretch, like the 9 games he played, it was this shell that was over him, and he just, you could tell he wasn't comfortable with fully being himself because of the way that people would react and things like that. And you're starting to see him get back to that. That mental part is a big part of they say you look good, you feel good, you play good. And in his way, he has to feel good. And if he feels good, he's going to play good. And you're starting to see him feel better, like he's coming out of that field. Like it's because last year you asked him to go to a University of Memphis game around this time. He's probably not coming. And it's not a problem. He's not coming. Unless he's hiding in a box somewhere where hopefully people don't recognize him or something. But yeah, it's definitely a good sign.
So you talked to a foot specialist about G.G. Jackson's injury. Did you learn anything new?
Learned a lot, and this is the guy who I talked to. We talked when Jaren was dealing with it, and he was pretty much on the money with everything. And yeah, everything that he said was kind of confirming and refreshing in a way. One of the confirming things was, this injury is not a career-threatening thing to G.G. Jackson in any way. When he comes back, he'll be able to, full speed. Like you're not going to see some guy who, the injury set him back and he just never got back to a 100%
Right.
During his second season. That should not be the case with this injury based on, the conversation that I had there. But another thing that really stood out to me, pretty much my main takeaway was based on Kenneth Young, the doctor's analysis, the 3-month timeline that the Grizzlies issued, that's kind of a plan it safe type number.
Shocking.
He right. Very shocking, right? But that's kind of the Grizzlies erring on the side of caution. And he said that roughly 8 weeks. Usually some guys are 6 to 8 weeks, some guys are 8 to 10 weeks. So you split it down the middle. That 8-week timeline is pretty much when you can expect Gigi Jackson's bone to heal. If you go back to when he had surgery and you move the timeline 8 weeks, that puts you right around Halloween, which is basically 3 or 4 games into the Grizzlies season. So you're talking beginning of the season, his bones should be healed pretty much. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, he has, based on the Grizzlies timeline, he'll have a month or so to ramp up. So if it was like Dr. Jung said, like if it was middle of the regular season and you're in a playoff hunt and this is one of your best players, you could cut that timeline down probably a couple weeks. You could ramp him up, a couple weeks and have him back much faster. So clearly, the Grizzlies are erring on the side of caution here by saying, hey, even if his bone is healed by the end of October, we're going to give the whole month of November. You know how the Grizzlies do it. They'll start him off some one-on-zero stuff. He'll progress to 1-on-1, 3-on-3, and then he'll get to 5-on-5. And then after 5-on-5, which is pretty much the last step, they're gonna put him out there. So I think that was kind of the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah, and there's no rush. It's not like he is going to be, look, he's important, don't get me wrong, but he's not that important. This isn't Ja or Dez or Jaren Jackson Jr., which right now even though it's not a serious injury, we'd still be freaking out. We're not freaking out because we know how deep this team is. So they can be very cautious, even though they are with every player, it seems like every single time. They can be very cautious and take their time with Gigi.
Yeah, for sure. This is one of those cases, like you said. They can be cautious, one, because he's a younger player, and I keep saying it, but we'll never know now, but there was no guarantee that Gigi Jackson was going to be in the rotation.
Right.
It was never, this guy's automatically, like I said, Luke Kennard, Vince Williams, Brandon Clark. To me, those are the 3 guys you can check mark. They'll be in the Grizzlies rotation in addition to the guys we expect to start. But, Santi Aldama's done some good things this summer. Put on a little weight, and we'll see how his progression continues. But at the same time, it was probably going to be one or other between Santi and Gigi getting the bulk of those minutes that, before.
You also wrote about Zach Edey and taking a look at, I guess, recent rookie centers and how their rookie seasons went. As you looked at that, did that change your opinion at all about what your expectations are from Edey in his rookie year?
I was hoping it changed some other people's opinions. Because look, for me, I come to these things realistically. Could he average a double-double? Sure, it's possible. I mean, this is a 2-time National Player of the Year, one of the most decorated college players we've seen in the 21st century for sure. But at the same time, centers just don't come in and just blow the NBA out of the water. It is you can make an argument that it's the toughest adjustment position, but most people will say, like, college basketball, the point guard position is the toughest adjustment. Spacing, you got players with, bigs with feet in the paint all the time, all these little things. But in the NBA, it's more spaced out. That's why these guards, like these Kentucky guards who average like 12 points in college and then get to the NBA and just, boom, 18 points as a rookie, and it's like, how'd they explode? It's like, well, it's more spacing and it's more room to operate, the freedom of movement. We know the NBA game is geared towards the offense, but with that being the case, since it's a guard and kind of perimeter player-oriented league for the most part, bigs, it's hard to kind of find your foot, in the NBA because so much that you do is kind of, the nuanced little things. It's the way you set a screen. It's not just rolling to the rim and scoring points and catching lobs and blocking shots. So historically speaking, like that's looking at those numbers, you see that outside of the guys that we knew just were extremely gifted, like outside of the top 3 picks, guys who were top 3 picks in drafts since 2016, only 2 players have averaged double digits in scoring, as centers. One of those guys, being like Wendell Carter. I think Miles Turner was another one as well. But it's kind of it's not a common thing for a rookie center to come in and blow the, just take the league by storm. Like, look at Derek Lively last year. Like, I think we can all agree Derek Lively had a really good rookie season, right?
Yep.
Like, he had a really good rookie season for the Dallas Mavericks. But if you go look at his stats, he averaged 8.8 points and 6.9 rebounds. Like, that's what he averaged as a rookie. So, with all that being said, it was kind of just, to kind of put people like, hey, look, let's manage the expectations on this guy. Like, sure, you want him to come in and be impactful. Like, in my mind, I said it, like, I think if he's 12-8, 11-8, that's a win, for you as a rookie, and he's in that Rookie of the Year conversation.
Look, he should be an accessory, right? He should be a tie or a belt with this team. He shouldn't be the beautiful dress shirt or the high-priced slacks or shoes. We know who those players are. He needs to come in and just do his job, do it well. He doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to be all NBA, and I think they should be fine. DeMichael Cole joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. Of course, you can read all of DeMichael's great stories at the Commercial Appeal. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichael C. All right, I'm going to put you, I'd like to put you in the kind of situations here and see which way you would go. All right, so this is game 1, opening night. DeMichael Cole, you are playing the part of Taylor Jenkins, okay? This is the first quarter of the game. Tell me the starters, and then tell me the guys coming off the bench and when they come in and who they come in for. All right? So you're the coach. You're Taylor Jenkins. Your opening night. This is what we got, and this is assuming no other injuries, no other issues, no off-the-court problems. You got everybody on the roster, but you don't obviously have G.G. Jackson to start the season. So let it rip.
Okay.
Let it rip.
All right, let's do it. So to start the game, I'm gonna go Ja Morant, Desmond Bain, Marcus Smart, and then we'll go Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey. That's your starting lineup.
Okay.
And since it's to be another season, because eventually we're gonna trim it down to 9, but we'll start 10-man rotation because Ja's not gonna be playing 34, 35 minutes off at the beginning of the season, Des, etc. So we're going to manage the minutes a little bit for those guys, first game of the season. And we'll start it with, we'll say the bench will be Derrick Rose as your backup point guard, Luke Kennard, Vince Williams, Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark. Those are your 10 guys playing. Now, the way that it looks is I think that you want Ja playing 10 first quarter minutes. You want Ja to come out and play majority of the first quarter. You want Dez and Jaren to sub out about halfway through the first quarter. If you can get Jaren and Dez out at the 6-minute mark, because I know you guys, everybody's not big Derrick Rose playing fans around here. So, but here's my counter to that: you start the second quarter with Derrick Rose as your point guard, but you have Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. in the lineup alongside of him, and you also have Vince Williams, in that lineup as well. So I think Marcus Smart, Ja Morant play a big part of the quarter. And when you make those subs, when you take out Desmond Bain, you bring in Luke Kennard to keep the shooting in there. And when you take out Jaren Jackson Jr., you bring in Santi Aldama. So now, even though you got Ja Morant on the floor, you have Marcus Smart capable of being a secondary playmaker, because Desmond Bain leaves the game, you lose your secondary playmaker. And Luke Kennard should not be your secondary playmaker. So you lose that, but instead of when Marcus Smart and Desmond Bain are both on the floor together, Marcus Smart is he's third in the pecking order when it comes to guys who are making plays in those lineups. But when you take out Desmond Bain, Marcus Smart moves up, so now he becomes kind of your guy, your other guy that you can run the offense through when you want to get Ja off the ball. So you end the first quarter something with a lineup like with Ja in there. You got Luke Kennard. You throw Marcus Smart in there playing, roughly 8 to 9, 10 minutes of the first quarter as well. Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark. Then you start the second quarter. You keep Brandon Clark in there to start the second quarter because Zach Edey's got to be roughly around 24 minutes at this point, unless he's just dominating the game. I think Brandon Clark will start the second quarter, and then you go Derrick Rose as your starting point guard. You keep Dez and Jaren Jackson Jr. in there as well, Vince Williams. And basically the idea with these pairings is, I think for the Grizzlies, it'll work well if you can try to keep Dez and Jaren on the floor a lot together this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Ja, you want to get him on the floor with Luke Kennard and Santi Aldama as well. But you want to keep that defensive intensity in there as well. So you got to keep Marcus Smart, Vince Williams on the floor with that group as well.
We're going to get you a job on the staff. That was pretty darn good. That was pretty darn good. Eli, any issues with the way he rotated? I loved it. That was really
I think that makes
good.
sense.
Man, oh man, that was in depth too.
The how many, like, for Edey, like, right away, how many minutes you think?
I think you start him around 26. 26 minutes would be a good number for him. That'd be more than lively as a rookie. But and I think, we saw kind of San Antonio manage Victor Wembanyama's minutes throughout the season, as well. But I think a good 24 to 26 is a good start now, simply because I don't think it'll be a night-to-night thing where he plays a certain amount of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We know based on his skill set, there are going to be certain matchups where he just shines. It's like, yeah, we got to keep him on the floor. And we got to remember that Brandon Clark is a really good basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, Brandon Clark is going to have some games. Like, it's going to be some games where it's like, Zach East playing all right. Like, he's not doing anything wrong. But Brandon Clark is just too good. He's got to close this game. And those games will happen. I think we can make that case a lot. A couple years ago, it wasn't like, Steven Adams is he's just a negative right now. It was just more so like, man, Brandon Clark he's playing really good. Like, we gotta keep riding the hot hand. And so he's a good player. You got to factor that in. And I think when you factor all that in, you're talking 24, 26 minutes, somewhere in that range.
And that's the thing, too. Like, I mean, obviously, Brandon Clark, a much different player. Like, so, yeah, based on a matchup, a athletic guy that Zach Edey can't guard out on the perimeter, well, okay, then you can't do that. Like, and where there's going to be certainly, matchups that are not right for Edey and others that are great for Edey.
Right, yeah. Like, you got to think about when you're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's 96-96. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's third possession in a row is trying to go at Zach Edey.
Yeah.
It may work out, but look, based on what we've seen up to this point of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's career, that's not a matchup you probably want. So, let's get Brandon Clark out there, a little bit mobile defender, a guy that we've seen in the past kind of hold his own, when he's isolated on the perimeter against the Steph Currys and the Klay Thompsons in those previous series. We saw him kind of help the Grizzlies out when they had to go against Karl-Anthony Towns, and he was super mobile, and it was a tough matchup for Steven Adams. So I think that's an adjustment that we'll see a lot throughout the season, and then the other way around, like when you got Jokic and Gobert just cleaning boards off the glass. Okay, Brandon Clark, we got to go with Edey to close this one out.
Any concerns with Clark? Obviously, he played some at the end of last season, but still coming off that Achilles that kept him out a long time. Do you feel that he'll be 100%?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I'm not overly. I think we're past the days like medicine just keeps we're getting smarter, or they're just finding new ways to kind of, because at first it was the torn ACLs. You all remember in the old days,
sure,
for a torn ACL.
Shoot, if you needed Tommy John surgery as a pitcher, you never pitched again.
Never pitched again, exactly. And now it's 15 to 18 months recovery, or whatever the case may be. And in the case of the Achilles injury, look at Kevin Durant. I remember I was reading about the Achilles injury for Kevin Durant and whatnot. And they were saying that he wasn't going to be able to play like over 60 games and 32 minutes per game, in a season ever again. And Kevin Durant was probably the only player on the Suns who was just consistently available for that team. So, with all that being said, I think we see, Brandon Clark's physical ability. And you talked about the Grizzlies being on the cautious side. They were very cautious with him last season. And when you factor in that, giving him all this extra time to build up. He'll have a regular preseason, a regular summer to get ready for the regular season. I think he'll be fine.
Yesterday, Adam Silver talked about the fact that expansion will be addressed this season. Do you feel like I do that it is inevitable that Seattle and Vegas are going to have teams, and how far down the road do you think it is?
I think it's probably 3-year process, 4-year process. Like I think that year 2028 is kind of a year to watch. But I think it's very realistic. You know, and the salary cap will also there'll be some changes there, and then we see they're gonna have to figure out how they're gonna divide the money between more teams. Like there are some other things that got to be worked out. But I think it's a 3 to 4 year process. And if you're talking, moving to the East, I think right now, I mean, Memphis and Minnesota probably are in the driver's seat. I don't think they're two Western Conference franchises, and I've always wondered how much it plays into things. But it's maybe it's not that big of a deal. But like when the Grizzlies go to these playoff series, and they got to go to LA, and the other team has to travel as much too. But over the course of the season, like you're going to. Like, the Grizzlies start the season, they got to go to Utah. Like, and that's a Western Conference game. It's not like, when you're the New York Knicks and, you go play the Brooklyn Nets. We don't even got to jump on a flight for that one. Like, or you're going to D.C. or, like, when the Knicks played the Sixers, didn't Philly bust the series to New York? Like, one of those teams, or the other way around, New York to Philly. Like, one of those teams bust to the other. Like,
right, it's an hour and a half. Yeah, exactly. It's a short little bus or train. By the way, so it would only be one team that would move over from the West to the East, not two. So Eli thinks it's going to be Minnesota.
I just think it's Minnesota because Minnesota has nobody in the West close to them. Like, and they get a lot closer to teams if they move to the East because of Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago. Like they got that north.
They're right there.
Like Memphis isn't close to really anybody in the West, but they still have at least Oklahoma City, Dallas. Like they go to the East, they don't really get that much closer to anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like Oklahoma City is about 6-hour drive. Dallas 6 hours or so.
New Orleans,
yep, another one's about 6. So yeah, they got some teams that are just a little hour and a half flight away. Whereas Minnesota, what is the closest Western Conference team to Minnesota? Like, is it the Grizzlies? Is it Oklahoma?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how. Like, there's nothing. That's like they have. Like, I don't know if it's like Denver. Like, I don't even know what is the actual closest mileage wise.
Yeah, maybe it is Denver. I mean,
Like they are such an island of their own in the Western Conference. Where again with the East, it's easy. Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago. Like they've got that northern group, upper Midwest kind of group that they can be a part of.
See, I want to find that out now. You made me very curious because Memphis to Chicago is what, 7 hours? I don't know. That's the way you go to Minnesota. What would be a drive to Minnesota? Chris Harrington takes that drive. I mean, I should ask him. Was it about a 9-hour drive?
Oh, it'd have to be maybe more than that.
I'm looking now. No, it's 12 hours. It says to get to Minneapolis, it's 12 hours.
12 hour. Okay, so what would Oklahoma City be to Minneapolis? I think it might end up still being Memphis is the closest one.
Yeah, I'd say Minneapolis to Oklahoma City is about 11 hours, 10 hours, 49 minutes.
So that's the closest. It's got to be Oak City, right? Because it's not Denver. Obviously, Denver's west of Oklahoma City. So it's Oklahoma City, right? That's your answer.
Yeah.
Who else could it be? It's not Portland.
Denver is 12 and a half hours. Yeah, it's definitely not Portland.
There you go. Little geography lesson for you folks. What's that?
I say everything so far. Look.
It is.
Good geography lesson for today.
Then again, in sports today, just look at college. It doesn't matter. Geography's out the window, so who even cares anymore? He's the Michael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Read all his great stories at the CA. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. And listen to him every Wednesday talking with us right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thanks to Michael. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, take care, guys.
You too.
Oklahoma City is 789 miles to Minneapolis.
Yeah, so I guess it's more north, and Memphis would be more northwest, right? In driving. Yeah, I would think so, right?
Denver's 915.
So there's your winner. I think you're right about Minnesota, that they would be the team moving over.
It's the only one that makes sense. Like, Memphis makes no sense. Honestly, I know people want to be in the East. It doesn't make sense to move Memphis to the East.
Right.
Especially over Minnesota.
They don't want to be in the East because of geography. They want to be in the East because annually it's not as strong a conference, even though, of course, they have the reigning NBA champs.
East Coast Wings and Grill, folks. Of course, tomorrow night we'll be kicking off the football weekend, and you got football action Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When the games are on, they're always on at East Coast Wings and Grill. Of course, whatever sport it is, not just football, baseball. They got the baseball package, so all of the baseball games, they've got them on as we get into the pennant chase here this time of year, then the playoffs, all of that. They've got it. And, of course, when the NBA rolls around, they've got the Grizzlies games. They'll have the college basketball with the Tigers. All the games always on. Plenty of TVs to choose from to see all of the action while enjoying great food, like any of their 60 different flavors of wings that you can choose from, whether bone-in or boneless wings, whatever your choice is. Of course, they've got many other things from their different sandwiches and salads and all kinds of great items on the menu that you could choose from. And they just added some new items as well to the menu over at East Coast Wings and Grill. So if you haven't been there in a little while, got some new stuff to choose from as well. Plus, of course, 24 draft beers on tap. Any other beer that you want, any other drink that you want, they've got you taken care of. East Coast Wings and Grill, located just off Highway 64, right between the Lowe's and Walmart there in Bartlett off Highway 64. That's where you'll find them, East Coast Wings and Grill.
Talk some NFL when we come back. We'll open up the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines to you. If you'd like to call in on any of the topics we've been talking about, you can text in as well, 901-360-8255. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Want to do something you can't do anywhere else? Then join me, your buddy Johnny Radio, at Top Gun Memphis this Thursday at 11 to 1 to experience the fully automatic machine gun package for just $99. It includes 3 different machine guns, ammo, range safety officer, and a shooting range. New to shooting or just need to learn? Top Guns Academy is nationally recognized, and memberships start at just $29.95 a month. Gun rentals are only $10. Join me this Thursday at Top Gun Memphis, 2770 Witten Road.
We're here with David Cooper, Vice President of Genesis Diamonds. David, we're familiar with iconic brands. Are there designers for engagement rings?
Absolutely. Like every other industry, there are 10 renowned bridal designers who have been leading the industry for years. They're trusted, respected, and exclusive. Every jewelry store wishes to help.
So what makes these designer engagement rings so desirable?
These designers drive a surge of customers to the store, making it the place to be. They attract shoppers who value quality, sophistication, and the ability to express their individuality.
Customers find these engagement rings in other stores?
Absolutely not. Other stores would love to have them, but they have to sell for what they can get, not what they wish to have.
So Genesis is cornering the market.
Certainly. World-class exclusive selection from $1,900 complete rings to $250,000 celebrity rings. These bridal designers in the world create these one-of-a-kind rings specifically to showcase
Genesis Diamonds. Operator Perkins Extended.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:32 is the time. Getting set for week 2 of the NFL season. Got the Dolphins and the Bills tomorrow night. Josh Allen is a go, despite injuring his hand in their come from behind win over Arizona. Had a couple of touchdown passes and 2 touchdown runs. Speaking of quarterbacks, next gen stats. This is when you really get deep into the analytics. They have a subject here, or a topic: worst completion percentage over what was expected from the stats. Now, I don't know how they gauge this on somebody who's never played an NFL game, but they have it. A couple of these guys have played NFL games. The top 3 as far as being the worst 3. Daniel Jones was a minus 17.3. He was expected to complete 69.7% of his passes, so nearly 70%. He actually completed only 52.4%, so that's a difference of 17.3. Bryce Young is next, expected at 60.3%, actual 43.3% completion ratio or percentage. That is horrible. 16.9, but not the worst. Daniel Jones is the worst. And then number 3, worst, Caleb Williams. Again, in his first start, he was expected to complete 64.4%. How do they know that? I don't know. 48.3% is what he actually completed. 16.1, minus 16.1 was his percentage. So those were the 3 statistically as far as worst completion percentage over what was expected, according to Next Gen Stats.
No real surprise.
No, Daniel Jones and the struggles expected. Bryce Young, no line to protect him. Pretty soon he's going to have to get some of the blame, but certainly doesn't have the weapons. Caleb Williams had a bad first game. I blame that on Eberflus and the coaching staff for not playing this guy at all, basically, in training camp. I mean, he played a little bit in the games, but not much. He will be better, I'm sure of it. If not, then I'm really off base, and so is everybody else in the world, because they all expect Caleb Williams to be good. But I don't know how you can come up with what was expected from his days at USC. Like Dan Orlovsky said, it ain't Arizona State you're going up against. But anyway, that's the way it all turned out. I don't know who the top guys are. I don't have the complete list in front of me. But I would imagine Baker Mayfield is probably at the top or near the top.
The NFL in week 1 averaged 21 million viewers per game.
No surprise.
I mean, it's all told, 123 million people saw at least part of one game, which is their highest total for an opening week since 2019. It is amazing what the NFL does in television ratings.
The sport,
compared to any other sport, it's like mind-blowing that just 21 million just for the first week of the regular season.
Right. Well, a couple of things. First of all, the sport is just a great sport. It's a great sport, okay? Number 2, college football, which is a behemoth as well, the numbers aren't going to be, nobody's going to touch the NFL. But the numbers for college football games, it varies, obviously, because there's so many games and so many teams and so many networks and things of that nature. So even the marquee games may not have as big a number because people have allegiances with other schools and they're watching them on different networks. NFL, obviously, you can watch a bunch of games as well. But there's only 32 teams. And you play like college, but you play once a week. The anticipation of the next game. That's why I think September to December, maybe to January, just rolls by. Summers are usually feel a little bit slower, although this summer went by pretty quick because I had a couple of vacations. But the fall usually goes like boom, and all of a sudden now you're into the new year. Well, it's the anticipation each week. Whether it's college or NFL, press conference here, injury report here. All right, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden the game's back on. It's a great sport. It's fun to watch. Obviously, the rotisserie, we used to call it that, but fantasy football. You can play with other sports as well, but it's really, really special with fantasy football, with the sport of football. And again, the anticipation for each single game, to me, makes people who care about sports, and there's a lot of people that care about sports, obviously all our listeners do, that it's going to have high ratings.
The only thing it doesn't say here, I don't know if this includes or if they have anything as far as the Red Zone channel is concerned. It doesn't mention the Red Zone channel in here.
What about the Manning cast? Is that on there for like Monday night games?
Well, yeah, that would be part of the viewership for Monday Night Football.
But I thought they said that they didn't include it this past Monday. Or maybe they just didn't have the numbers available at that point. I don't know. I thought they said
Monday night on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Plus averaged 20 million viewers.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a lot of people. Other than the Cowboys, I watch Red Zone channel. If the Cowboys are on, I'm watching the Cowboys. If the Cowboys are not on, I'm strictly watching the Red Zone channel. I don't turn on another actual game. I just watch the Red Zone channel.
And Red Zone channel.
So I don't know if that 119 or what it was, 119 million or 113 million, 223 million people.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, are they counting that as, because it says it saw at least part of one game. Obviously, if you're watching the Red Zone channel, you're seeing parts of every game. But so I don't know if Red Zone channel numbers are included in that or not, or in the 21 million viewers per game, is that just those game viewers, or is that are they counting Red Zone viewers in that as well? I don't know.
Would think they count Red Zone viewers.
Because Red Zone has become...
Okay.
That's the way to watch the NFL, quite frankly.
Is Red Zone still on direct?
I don't know if... I assume they have...
Where do you see your Red Zone?
I cannot disclose that information.
What do you, pirate?
I cannot disclose that information.
Okay. Well, I have DirecTV. Of course, we still don't have ESPN.
I would assume that
still don't have it.
I don't have DirecTV, but I would assume on DirecTV they have you could get Red Zone channel. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I don't think I pay extra. I think you know what? Last week I'm flipping around and I see it and I never put it on because I was watching the Titans game and then I was watching the.
It'll be a part of some sports pack or of some sort.
Yeah, I think I may have it.
I can't imagine why DirecTV would not. I would say 99.9% sure, even without having DirecTV, that you could get the Red Zone channel. Yeah, everybody offers that.
I flipped it. It was in the 700s, I think. I flipped it on. I didn't actually go and click on the Red Zone. I saw it say it there, but then I was looking for other games because I was trying to find my Colts. And in years past, all the games are available. But on this,
because DirecTV used to have the Sunday ticket, they don't have it now.
That's what I mean.
It's on YouTube TV.
I know DirecTV is screwed me. I don't know why I continue with this thing. Now I don't have ESPN.
Did you pay for the Sunday ticket?
I had to have. I got it. I watched all different games.
A lot of money. That's expensive.
Hey man, I do some things on my free time, man, to make some extra money.
I don't have to get but then you get they go to YouTube TV and buy the Sunday ticket.
Yeah, I didn't know where it was. I thought it was just, but I think I might have the Red Zone still on DirecTV. I got to check it out. But again, DirecTV has upset me just a tad. Still 2 weeks into the year, 1 week into the NFL season, 2 weeks into college, and they haven't figured out a way to rectify the situation. You got the mouse involved, DirecTV, ESPN, all these people. Big companies that make a lot of money.
It is surprising because obviously the time when you get into football, especially the NFL, and that's interesting too that you got the NFL with these numbers and you've got DirecTV. So it's like the Monday night game, which is on ESPN. There's people that couldn't watch it because they don't have ESPN.
Exactly.
And they still put up those types of numbers even with that. But with the fact that that happening right at the beginning of football season, you would think the outcry would be enough that deal would get done in a hurry. That they're like, so. This is football. Especially with the NFL, it's like, okay, college football, whatever. Now, wait, the NFL starting?
We ain't messing
I
around
can't
now.
watch an NFL game. Again, there's over 20 million people watching NFL games every single game. Like, you'd think that would be like, okay, this deal's got to get done one way or another, because either DirecTV is losing a bunch of subscribers because they're going to go elsewhere where they can get it, or the folks on the other side, they're like, we've got to get this programming on because people are coming after us saying, get the deal done with DirecTV.
I'd like to know what the particulars are. What are they squabbling about? Obviously, it's money, but like what? How much? I'd like to know. By the way, tomorrow night, the Dolphins and the Bills, Raheem Mostert ruled out, and Devon, is it Achane? Is that how you pronounce it? Achane. Still to be determined. They may not have him either. If they don't have, who's the next running back? Who else do they have? If they don't have either one of those guys.
Yeah, so you got Jalen Wright from Tennessee and Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson, the old 49er from years ago. Jalen Wright from Tennessee. Wow. So I think Tua might put up some big numbers. Now, he's going up against Buffalo, but put up some big numbers because I bet he throws the ball an awful lot. That'll be a fun game tomorrow. And again, Josh Allen is good to go.
Genesis Diamonds, speaking of good to go, that's a good place to go if you're looking for jewelry, especially engagement rings or anything for some special occasion that you're trying to get that beautiful piece of jewelry for a special someone. Well, they've got all the top designers. They got something for every price range, every budget out there. They got a great staff to help you pick it out as well. Not a staff working on commission that's there to pressure you to buying something more expensive. They're just there to help you pick out that perfect piece of jewelry and educate you on what you should be looking for, what affects prices, and all those types of things that make you a smarter shopper when it comes to buying jewelry. Whether you're buying from Genesis or buying elsewhere, they're going to make you smarter and a better jewelry shopper when you go talk to the folks at Genesis Diamonds. Quality, detail, individuality, craftsmanship, they got the top of the line when it comes to everything, and they've got great prices and great people as well. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
One segment to go. We'll get to it when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo, and if you have not been to that brewery right on the river just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their product. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Harriet jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. And once again, Barbara Gaston and Eli Support.
The Timing of the Year award goes to the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, one game wasn't going to do anything anyway. They had already agreed on a deal in principle, and many believe that Sharon Moore will do a great job at Michigan, so kind of tongue-in-cheek as I say this. But he actually started the season without a contract signed and coached Michigan this past weekend without a contract against the Texas Longhorns, who went into Ann Arbor and demolished Michigan. And so now a deal is done. So the Timing of the Year award to Michigan after getting blasted by Texas. Sharon Moore is signed, sealed, and delivered. Athletic Director Ward Manuel, according to Sharon Moore himself, has been tremendous throughout this process. I'm excited to have this full contract completed. Their support for our team is greatly appreciated, and all three of us are aligned in our goals for this football program. That includes the president, Santa Ono. So there you go. Word Manual now signed, sealed, delivered. He's yours at Michigan.
Speaking of Michigan, the NCAA has another lawsuit on their hands from some former Michigan football players, including Braylon Edwards and Denard Robinson.
Wow.
They and two others have sued the NCAA and the Big Ten Network, seeking more than $50 million in retroactive compensation for being wrongfully and unlawfully prevented from profiting off their name, image, and likeness.
Good luck with that.
They and the settlement, which, by the way, that's got a snag in it right now anyway, because the judge sent them back to the drawing boards because the NCAA was trying to prevent some stuff NIL-wise in there. But it
only goes back a certain amount of years.
That goes back to 2016.
Right.
And anything before 2016, the statute of limitations is up. But these guys say in their argument, in their lawsuit, is that the statute of limitations does not apply because the NCAA and the Big Ten Network have continued to market and profit off the name players through things like present-day YouTube and social media clips, merchandise, and airing classic Michigan games from the past. So their argument is that it is continuing today, so therefore the statute of limitations does not apply in this case.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Now you've got the NC State 1983 basketball team. You got the Kansas 2008 basketball guys, and now throw in this group of Michigan guys. Others obviously could join them and all that. So, I don't know where all of these go, but the NCAA just keeps getting hit from every side, every angle. Lawsuits more than they could possibly imagine, and I would assume they will continue to come.
Well, look, the lawsuit, which again has not been settled, and we're talking, a couple of $2 billion and all. First of all, the whole retroactive money to these athletes and only going back to a certain time period, I mean, that opened up Pandora's box. Because you're going to have many of these lawsuits from players going back over the years saying, you did this, you did that, we could have gotten this, we could have gotten that. Now, this one's interesting because if they continue to use videos of them, now, isn't that the property of the school or who owns that property? And said video, does that mean because you're involved in that thing before NIL started that you are able to profit from that? I don't think so. I think it's not frivolous now that you've explained it, but I don't think they'll win because, again, if they do, everybody is going to be asking for money from the past. And the way I would counter...
That's the NCAA's problem.
Yeah, but the way I would counter is get some attorneys in there and question Denard Robinson and Braylon Edwards and all these other guys. Well, how much money did you profit from the school illegally against the NCAA rules? How much money were you given by these programs? You want to really open up a box, a can of worms? Find out from all these players, truthfully, how much money they made. You say, hey, you want NIL money from back then? Well, you got paid $75,000, $100,000, $150,000 to come to this university. And then we will really out every single program, every single coach, and every single player.
But they'll say, yes, so we'll see you for $49,900,000.
Yeah, but the point is they really want to, again, disgrace sports. Even though we knew that those things were happening, they were behind closed doors and not above table. They were below table. They were not legal. Now it is. It's fine. It's a different story. Hey, man, it is what it is. Is Jack Nicklaus going to sue because the purse at these tournaments he won was so low back then? Look at the purse now. I was making $850 to get a win. Now they're getting $8 million. I'm going to sue for that. It's ridiculous, man. The past is the past. Those things happened. Good luck with that because, again, if they win, everybody is going to win. By the way, one other baseball note, Aaron Judge, I don't know how long he's been stuck on 51, but he still has 51 home runs, so that thought of him getting to 60, time is really winding down. I'm not sure if pitchers have heeded my advice and they're not pitching to Aaron Judge, or he's actually slumped a little bit. I know last night he struck out a couple of times, but Judge there at 51 home runs. Jenkins Floors and More, third hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. If you're looking for flooring and carpeting, looking to get tremendous help from tremendous people, and that's the Jenkins, Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins. You're going to get that at Jenkins. You're going to find what you're looking for, top-of-the-line products, and at a low, low cost. We're talking about wholesale pricing. That's what they have for you at Jenkins Floors and More, located at 2356 Goodman Road. That's in Horn Lake. They also have a store in Cleveland, Mississippi, where they began about 8 years ago, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. They will come to you and give you a free estimate. So whatever it is that you are looking for, if you are looking for them to do the job for you, they will do it in 2 weeks. It's a 2-week turnaround. But again, they'll come to you, give you a free estimate, show you the different samples, and tell you what it's all going to be, or how it's going to go down, what it's going to look like. Now, if you're a contractor out there or a homeowner, home builder, and you can do it yourself, get the material from Jenkins Floors and More. It makes a lot of sense. From ceramic and porcelain tiles to hardwoods by Portercraft to carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet. They have it all. Jenkins Floors and More. And when you give them a call or you stop by, ask them about the Sports 56 family discount. All military and first responders, 10% off. Call them at 662-469-9350 or stop by 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Tell them I sent you. It's Jenkins Floors and More, our 3 sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. That's going to do it for us today. Fun show. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for your texts and your calls. Tomorrow on the program, we will be busy. Ryan Silverfield, the head coach of the Memphis Tigers football team, will join us at 8:05. That'll be followed by the Tiger Football Report as we preview the Tigers in Florida State. Kerry Miller on Major League Baseball at 8:45. And then from 9 to 10, it's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader. We'll have our world-famous Pick Six. That's all coming up tomorrow starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Want to thank Jerry Palm, DeMichael Cole for joining us on the program today. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.